to another episode of the League of Inches podcast, Supercoach edition. So this is our weekly at the moment, our Supercoach Team Preview podcast, where we go through in depth each and every team and all their Supercoach options from our point of view ahead for 2026, especially to start the year. A big focal point on that because it's so important. And obviously things change throughout the year with injuries and the like. Tonight's featured teams include the Warriors, Titans, Sharks, and the Sea Eagles. So a loaded episode for you guys this week, and hopefully it helps you all. There's a number of Supercoach prospects, players that I think you coaches out there have your eye on, and perhaps after this year, either more keen, less keen, added new players, whatever it is. We hope we can help you out at some point, go from there. I've got the boys with me as well. I've got Trav, got Jesse. Jesse's looking really smick at the moment. He's got the light on him as if he's God. He basically is Supercoach God for us. So how's things, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah, they got the light beaming down. I've got my wife's ring light out, actually, giving myself actual lighting instead of the horrible down lights, and a bit of a camera upgrade, courtesy of you, mate. So thank you for that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's much clearer, much better. I'm looking at myself going, bloody hell, this is wild. Is this what I actually look like? So
that off season ham and potatoes and rolls, everything else. That's what it's done to you. Trav, how's things, mate?
Yeah, going really well, mate. Keen to rip into this. Let's get straight into it, eh?
We are going to get straight into it. Firstly, just a quick thank you to all the sponsors out there that support the page and make it what it is in 2026. So the Caxton Brewing Company, our major sponsor. Again, if you're in the Brisbane area, guys, please, it doesn't even need to be a game day. Go down there, have a bite to eat, have a drink, whatever it is, please just go down there. Let them know that we've sent you. They will absolutely look after you. CSG Apparel and Sava Sports polos that we've got on, and all of our League of Inches merch for 2026. The range is getting bigger. There's some really cool things about to hit. Please make sure if you do want to get your hands on any of the League of Inches merch, you message the page. And finally, our Supercoach sponsor, thank you very much to Con and the team at Freedom Finance Group. Once again, on board for the second year in a row, which is awesome. I love having these sponsors who come back and shows you guys that we're doing the right thing. We're meaning well. Things are really building nicely, and businesses can see the potential in what we are producing as well, and how much the growth is happening. So thank you to everyone out there. Please support these guys, and they will continue to support us. Let's get right into finally just the League of Inches draft as well. We did have a few people message the page from last week. It is now officially full. I'm pretty sure it's full. Let's just lock in for that. I was about to ask Trav the same question. I was like, I'm not even going to go there this week. It is currently full, so don't bother messaging me. If anything changes, we'll put a post up. We'll ask for more if we do extend. But at this stage, we've got majority of coaches have come back. Added a few new guys as well. Really, really keen to see what draft comes. We'll probably do a bit more content, especially to start the year with orders and stuff like that around the draft as well to keep everyone informed. Let's get stuck into teams because there's 4. It's a big one tonight, from last year. When we do these falls, it can be a big one. We get the feet up and we might as well get some coffees and stuff like that. We go for a while. And the first team is the New Zealand Warriors. So first 5 is round 1 against the Roosters at home. Round 2, the Raiders at home. Round 3, the Newcastle Knights away. Round 4, the Tigers at home. And then round 5, the Sharks away. I've also wanted to just quickly update everyone with some key injury news as well before we get stuck into it. So you've got Mitchell Barnett. ACL is obviously in recovery at the moment. He's looking around that 1 to 4 mark, rounds 1 to 4, courtesy of the NRL Physio. Another one from the NRL Physio gave us an update the other day on Luke Metcalf. He's looking around that round 7 to 10 mark at this stage. Finally, Jai Lanane, again, an ACL, unfortunately. He's already back into the sort of preseason mold, so he'll be in and around it when it comes to round 1, whether he gets picked or not. Boys, when I speak to you guys and open it up here about the New Zealand Warriors, Jesse, I'll throw to you first. Are they piquing your interest at the moment?
Truthfully, no, they're not at the moment. There's not a great deal of Warriors that I'm sort of ripping and tearing to get into my side. To be fair, I don't mind their start. I think their draw's kind of generous to open up with 3 home games in 5. pretty light fixtures, to be fair, for the players, or for the teams they're playing against, in a way. The home games help that massively, I would say. But playing the Titans, I think the Tigers as well early on too. So yeah, I like their run to begin with, and there's a couple of players that tend to start quite hot, and we'll get into that pretty soon. But yeah, as far as it goes, I haven't got any Warriors in my side. I have sort of, toyed with a couple of them, but again, it's more just a pricing thing, and it's that who have I got to afford at the moment, and it just happens to be a couple of the Warriors. So, yeah, things might change closer to the season starting and preseason and stuff, but at the moment, I'm not really looking at too many of them personally.
Going off what we've done just last week alone, things might change just after this next half an hour of this podcast when we start talking about some guys and all of a sudden we're going, oh, hang on, I've made a live trade already in a preseason podcast. Trav, how about yourself? Any worries at this early stage before we get into position by position really piquing your interest, or you're off the Wars train, so to speak, from a Supercoach point of view?
I have a grand total of one player in my team, and that person is sitting on my bench without a reserve. And I'm happy to have them on the bench with the news of Metcalf sitting there until around 7 or 8, but that's about it. I don't have anyone else. There are some players of note, but none that have made my way into my team in any sort of position. So I'm not like I'll be watching, but that's about it. I'm not sure. Like, you made the comment of you like the draw, but I don't. Like, the Roosters round 1, yes, it's in Auckland, but it's, the Roosters will be sitting there for the whole of summer banking on this game, so they're ready to go. Then you got the reigning minor premiers the week after that. Then they've got to travel across to the Knights, which hopefully are going to be better. Then they've got the Tigers, which at home, which could be anything. And then they got to travel back over here for the Sharks, and then they've got to travel back down to Melbourne to play the Storm. So that's the first 6. I'm not as positive as you are, Jesse, on that first 6 games, but yeah, Supercoach wise, I'm not keen on any of them really.
It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. It's probably in the middle when it comes to draws. So there is some teams like the Roosters and that who have notoriously not started well when it comes to the season, and they really build in. So it might be a really good time, especially at home, to have them. Like you say, that the Roosters have been waiting for this all off season. No doubt the Warriors, how they ended last year, and didn't get embarrassed at home, but they did get bundled out in a home final. They would have been seething from that. They obviously had some really key injuries, injury blows. So I've got no doubt they're sitting over there under the radar once again, ready to go and ready to make a statement from the opening whistle. So let's get into the position. So from hooker, obviously Wade Egan, 527k, and Sam Healy, who started to get some minutes last year, played a grand total of 6 games and 429k. He's shown he's a real prospect of the future that can have a big say on Wade Egan's minutes this year, boys. So with saying that, I'll go firstly to Jesse, because there was a piece that we put up about a week or so ago now. Go follow the social media pages. If you haven't already, just type in League of Inches wherever you are, you'll find us. Jesse, you said on the article that Wade Egan's potentially, we say pod play. We don't know numbers at the moment, but we're assuming he won't be a massively owned hooker, and you've got some numbers to suggest he's not a bad start.
Yeah, so I kind of flagged him last year because I sort of made note the previous year how well he started, and then he made a really good start again, and then he had another really good start, and I thought, geez, this guy, he tends to just come out of the gates really hot, and whether it's, the Wade Egan thing where the season carries on, his body, we all know Wade Egan, I'm sure there's that many coaches out there that have been torched by him a couple of times,
I was
yourself.
going to put your hand up.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone's kind of familiar with the toll that the season can take on Egan, and how prone he is to kind of any random injury. But yeah, he does come out really hot. So he's priced off a 52 average, I believe, at 500 or 54 average, 527k. Looking at the last 3 years, and which was the posted reference to his first 5 rounds. So, and I will, put an asterisk against the first 5 rounds, not first 5 games played, because he didn't play 5 games in the first 5, which is typical of Egan. But his average in those last year, in the first 5 he played 4 of, averaged 74.75. When you include the fifth game, it comes to a 70.6, which would have been the round after, round 6, in 80-minute games. So whether or not Healy does anything to take minutes away from him, I wouldn't think so. But the season prior, in the first 5, he played 3 games, averaged 63.67. Move that up to a 5-game by round 6, it's close to 70 again. And then the previous season in 2023, kind of where I sort of noticed his hot start, 4 games in, he averaged 80.5. He was the number 1 hooker, essentially, and he kind of is after the first month of footy, by average and everything else, really, because he's always priced around that 50. That's kind of what he's going to get you throughout the length of the season. He'll average or balance out to be a 50, with a really hot start, and then as the season progresses and as things change, the niggles come through, the injuries, the rest, whatever happens. So it's kind of the time, if you're really going to take that punt on him, there's very little risk. He's fit. There's a preseason behind him, and history states that he comes out really, really good. If you want to go back even further as well, I'll let Trav sort of have a point as well. But going back to 22, 21, and 2020, well, mainly the first two. 2022, he averaged 49.4 in the first 5 games and played 5 of. 2021, he averaged 50.2. So he's a 50-minute guy, a 50-point hooker, sorry, and he's going to do that pretty much all the time. But yeah, the last 3 years, it's just been massive for him. So yeah, it's worth a punt. I can't see a problem in it, genuinely. At the worst, he's going to get you a 50. At even worse, he's going to get injured. But if it goes the way it does, yeah, you could be looking at a 70+ for at least a month.
When you first sent through those numbers, I almost messaged you back and said, can you double check this? Because it just doesn't seem right. It actually just seemed too good to be true. But obviously those numbers are actually really incredible. One small point I'll make, I do think Sam Healy will start the year just because more so with the injuries they've still got. I think Metcalf with now, it looks like Tamari Martin probably have a starting role, who would have been the other guy who probably would have had a bench spot, and no Barnett at this stage will, I think, ensure that Healy potentially does get that 14 role. I think that may change once both of those players are back and the squad's a bit more fully fit, but we'll know obviously a bit closer to kickoff. Trav, any more points when it comes to either hooker, really?
No, I agree with you, Joel. The word is, and the mail is that he's got the 14. So I think that'll help. That'll eat into some minutes there. I also know that, look, who's the better hooker out of the two? Clearly Egan is. But I reckon there's going to be a little bit of minutes taken from him just to try and get him through the year, because they want to try it. Now they know they've got this talented guy like Healy, and he's legitimately talented, that they can get, I see a Starling Paddy type sort of situation happening here where, there's a 15, 20-minute rest for Starling, like what Paddy used to do, and then Egan comes back in. The other side of it too is those numbers last year and what Egan's been doing is great. And he was very good early on because he had to be with the new half partnership between Metcalf and CHT. This year he's going to have to do it again. So I still see Jesse's numbers and what's happening exactly. To the point is that he's going to be good. There's going to be some good numbers there. It's just a matter of how good is the only issue. And do I want to pay $5.27 for that when I know I can get a hooker that we're going to talk about in this episode at some point for $100K cheaper, or another one for $110K cheaper?
Yeah, I will say too, just on that point with the minutes, outside of last year, in the first 5 rounds, he did play 80, but every year before that, going back to pretty much 2020, in the first 5 rounds, he averaged 65 minutes. So if there is a 15-minute split, it's exactly what he was doing anyway. It wasn't an 80-minute average for those kind of scores he was putting up. So yeah, he was doing it in 65. He's got a 1.2 point per minute in those years. So
I'm interested to see how this plays out. And the unfortunate thing for him, the final point here is his injuries don't really happen because of minutes played. It's just more so he puts his head where people shouldn't be putting their feet, unfortunately. Like, he's just an absolute warrior down to his core, and he unfortunately just feels the wrath of doing that and putting his body through what majority of us would not do. Let's move to the front row forward position, and off the bat, the number one here is Jackson Ford, 588k. James Fisher-Harris, 535k. Mitch Barnett, 529k. Dimitri Vaimaga, he's with the 2RF dual, 400k. Murata Niokora with the 2RF dual as well, 371. And Tanar Stowers Smith, 318k. Boys, I've got to be honest with you. I'm not very keen, or none of these names are really staring at me and trying to grab me at the moment. Mitchell Barnett's a little bit of a watch, obviously, when he does come back, see how things are going, but it's an ACL. He's coming back early to mid-ish sort of through the year, so it's not really someone we'll probably speak about more so during that origin period. I'm sure you boys will cover that then, but what are you thinking here for that front row forward position?
Trav?
Look, I think we're blessed and can put in our plans for mid-year that we're getting Mitch Barnett at 529k. Like, Mitch Barnett's definitely high on my list of who I'm trade targeting in. As soon as he's named and I watch his first 2 games, I'll be getting him in. Don't get trapped into James Fisher-Harris. This is a superstar in our game, but he's not a Supercoach player, unfortunately. And I'll make that really clear before the WAS people hit my inbox and start saying, what the hell are you talking about? Because I know they will. He is a superstar in our game, but he is just not a Supercoach guy. It's as simple as that. I like Jackson Ford, but he's more of a draft guy than a Supercoach player for me. Really happy to watch for him from the stands. And otherwise, nothing really else. Look, to be fair, this is a team that I think will still play finals. This is a team that are good names. I just not a team that's full of super coach players.
Yep, 100%. It's kind of a shame too that Barnett and Ford, they've lost their jewels.
Yes.
That's kind of where the killer is for him. Like, Barnett would have been so bloody appealing with a 2RF. We'll see how it goes come Origin. You know, it might be a really nice fill for anyone that's carrying those guys that are going into it. But yeah, I just feel like everyone's sort of priced up, unfortunately. Like, there's no value here at all. Even Dimitri too. Like, he was a good cashy last year
He's still
for an extent
400k.
anyway. He's 400 with a dual, which is nice. But yeah, we'll just have to see how second row pans out. I don't see him being a viable front row option. Really, you're not going to put him on your bench at that 400k. 2RF potentially, if no one really pops their hand up. There is already a couple. And yeah, Ford's just, he's too dear. So yeah, to echo Trav's point, decent draft prospects. I think you might get them even quite late. I don't think they'll be on too many radars. So a couple of late round forwards there could be pretty good going. A couple of smokies.
Yeah, like someone like Fisher-Harris can get you the 50 odd each week, and it's not
Yeah.
flash, but for a draft prospect, that's definitely something I play that I know personally. I love having those sorts of guys where you just bank on them getting.
That's
that
why
50
you never win, Joel.
Oh, righto, mate. Better draft career than you so far.
Hey-o.
2RF forwards. Aaron Clark, another guy that's unfortunately lost a duel. 671k. Leka Halasima, 502k. Kirk Capewell, 440k. We just spoke about Valmunga and Nikora. Morgan Gennon, 350k from the Super League. And then we've got Eddie Iremaya Tavea, 339k. And then Jacob Laban, 299k. Talk to me, boys. I tell you, Aaron Clark was just my guy last year. I absolutely loved having him. I got him so early as well compared to both of you boys. And I know there was many weeks where you both were saying to me, I wish I got him. I wish I had him. Wish I had him. He was a saviour, but as someone who just idolised him, I just don't think I can go near him at 671k to start the year when there's so much better value around in that 2RF position and, unfortunately, a lost duel.
Yeah, that's the pain, isn't it? It's 670, well, pretty much 672k for Aaron Clark, it just doesn't really hit right, you know. Like it's sort of last year was just this insane breakout for him. I doubted it for so long too, and I didn't get on him. I never had him last season. I think the week that you got him, Joel, I got Tarpany instead. I would have much rather Aaron Clark for the year. I'll be completely honest. So losing the Jewel is painful. I think that he'll still have some faithfuls from last year as well. Genuinely, I think there's a few people out there that have just been so rewarded by him that they're going to go back. But 671k is just astronomical coin for Aaron Clark for me to start. There is another name in this 2RF list that has me quite interested. He's probably the only Warrior in the entire Supercoach lineup that I would throw in my team with confidence. But Trav, anything on Aaron Clark, man?
Like him, he's not a must-have. Not at 671k. It's as simple as that. Like, is he going to improve from his 68.7 average from last year?
I can't see it happening. It's just so good.
I can't
it's so
either.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Dally M Lock of the Year, blah, blah, blah. Like, he had a great year last year, and you were exactly right. I was very envious for a very long time that Joel had him and I didn't. And Jesse, you and I spoke many times, how can we get this guy in our team? And we just was never able to. He was fantastic last year. But I think Aaron Clark is, that average of 68.7 is just about what he's going to get, if not probably less. I don't think he's going to improve, especially with some of the injury issues that he's got. I like him. If he drops another 100, I'll be all over it. But yeah, at this average, I'm pretty happy to spend 60k less and get Crichton.
I reckon everyone will be onto it. If he drops 100k, that's wishful thinking. I reckon he'll stay around similar to what he's doing. I just think to start the year, and it's just not someone I'm looking at. I want value, or just a bona fide study I'm going to keep all year. And I just with Barnett returning with Fisher Harris, probably having more of a stance in that lineup as well, and being more fit. Hopefully, I just don't know what impact he can have. Is the player you're keen on, Jesse? Is it Leka Halasima?
Because it is.
No, bull rubbish. I thought it was going to be Laban.
Laban. That's right. No, it is. No, he could be a gun.
Averaged 51.4 last year, but let's not forget last year he had many games where he's off the bench and limited minutes as well, things like that. So I'm thinking surely he's locked in for a starting spot, an 80-minute role surely now. They've had last year as the blooding year where they're just getting ready for this, and now it's just an all-out assault. 51.4, I reckon he finishes the year averaging at least 10 points more.
It's funny you say 10 points more because he did basically average 10 points more in starting edge games. So that includes a lot of bench stuff, especially early on. It was him working in. You don't. This is why you have me, mate. Look, when it came to the start of the year, there was a lot of tossing up between Dimitri Vomanga and Halasima. And it was who's getting the minutes and where it is. And I started with Dimitri as well. He was I'm pretty sure he was in my starting side. It looked like he was going to be the one. Ended up going the other way. To which point, get Halasima in. But in games where he did play, starting back row, over 60 minutes, again, just to rule anything out injury related, he averaged 76 minutes, so pretty much full game, for 63, with a base of 49. So he's pretty much priced at his base. He's got a lot of the Eli Katoas about him. And I love it. I reckon he's a gun. I am tempted for him. I do like him a lot. I think I will have him at some point this season. I don't know if I'll start with him, but I don't mind the price at 500, especially with what's around in 2RF at the moment. So, yeah, I see value in him. I see probably at least 100k's worth of value in him. Over a stretch, I don't think he's going to be a breakout burst, instantly make you 100k in the first couple of, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. Potentially if he has a massive try scoring game, because he does have him in him, but he scored 6 tries in 11 games that he started on the edge. So he's got some good numbers, man, and he's a goer. So I'm all about it. I'm a fan of this one.
A famous try that broke the Knights' hearts as well. Sorry, Knights fans, just to throw that one back into you that you're all probably hopefully starting to forget about. Trav, temptation, is it there?
It is absolutely there at 502. He's the only, as I said to you at the start, like there's one that's in my team and there's one that I'm interested in, and he was that guy. His highest score last year was against Para for a 90. In round 26, he played 46 minutes. He's just a freak, and he's going to be a freak. Um, I'm I can't start with him. I have seen teams with him, and I don't hate it. I don't, and I really do like it, but I can't start with him at 502 until I just see what happens with their halves. Does TMM come in and do it? Like, does he match next to CHT really well? How does Healy off the bench? What happens with their forwards with no Barnett there again? Like, there's just a few things that I need to see from the Waz before I get Halasima, and just the way he plays and what I've seen of him so far. There's temptation, but just not to start with.
If he's named to start round one, I reckon I'll do it because I think, and this is a pretty big rap because I think he's one of the only edge back roles I've watched for quite some time now where it doesn't matter who his playmaker is. He literally does so much himself, creates so much. He's just a wrecking ball. They find him so hard to tackle already, and he's so young, so he's growing into his body. If he's named to start, I think you almost need to go from the start. I don't think it's one of those things you wait. I think you go, jump on, enjoy the ride because it's going to be a hell of a ride. It's going to be huge. And there's even going to be games where, like, I reckon there'll be many more 90-odd point games this year, especially when he hopefully starts consistently throughout. There's some nice games in and around the whole duration of the first 10 or so weeks when you look a bit more into it. Yeah, especially the home games as well. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I want to start with him.
Yeah, I don't mind it, man. I really like the start for him, to be fair. Like, I think if you're going to get him, just get him, sort of thing. But I've also seen many a team without a 500k second rower as their dearest second rower. So depending on how people are building out their teams, honestly, I've seen so many teams where the dearest second rower is for feeder, mid 400s.
I have too.
And straight away, it's like, are you really putting Halasima at that point 50k or 500k or so more value than Dave Fafita to be your dearest guy? For an extra 50k, you can go to Cam Murray. It's like he's in that weird spot. He's in an in-between spot where he's not quite value, but he is. It's just not huge value. But he's a vibe play, and he's a good player to watch. So, yeah, I do see him in. I reckon I'll see him in some teams, but his ownership will be low. It'll be quite low.
Yep. Anyone else in the 2RF department we want to talk about?
No, not necessarily. Laban's cheap. We'll see if he gets any more minutes than he has in the last couple of years, but opportunity might arise for him at some point in the year. I'm not going to start with him, though.
Might be one of those
I don't
guys
think there's a spot for him.
Yeah, I was just about to say you might get sucked into him early because he may get a spot early because there's a couple of injuries in there, but after that he'll disappear and you're like, oh crap, I've got this guy who's around.
I've had him for one game. I've had him for two games. Yep, exactly.
Halfback, Luke Metcalf, obviously just spoke about him. He's still due back in a couple of weeks post round one starting. He's at a 613k. Tana Boyd will be his replacement at 574k. Tamari Martin, 235k. And Jet Cleary is here, 201k. Keep an eye on him, obviously. Famous last name. There's already some decent raps on him. He played some really good games in New South Wales Cup. Still think it's probably at least 12 months off him being in the mix. But who knows? There's this Metcalf injury, boys. So he's, just to remind everyone, around 7 to 10, he'll be back in contention of, I guess, playing and things like that, courtesy of NRL Physio. Any of these boys tempting you guys? I think you're both liking the third on the list at 235k, 5'8" dual, Tamari Martin.
Yes, I will. I actually do have Tamari Martin in my side. I forgot I had him at all, to be honest. He's my bench, 5'8". Mainly because of his price tag. I have no interest in the top two at all. Even when Metcalf's back, I think just from last season, I know you had him forever, Joel. I just don't think I'll do it. I don't think there's much appeal there without the dual anymore. I think that was kind of the big thing. He was a 5'8" that got halfback. It was kind of flexible. Now he's lost the 5'8". I've just got very little interest even when he's fit. But Tamari Martin, look, he's not a guy that I never thought was super relevant, even in 2024 when he exploded for his biggest season ever. Averaged 67.7 in 16 games. really good. Somehow averaged 81.3 minutes. So I don't know what the Warriors were doing. A couple of golden points, but yeah, it just depends. It depends on who starts really, because they've got a few options at the moment, and if it's going to be Boyd and Harris Tavita, then it's just enough 5'8", really, with a duel that you're hoping to get a run one day. That's the only reason I've got him, to be honest. Just on the chance he plays.
It's an interesting play because I think Boyd will get the halfback spot early, just purely off the goal kicking. And the fact he can just steer the side around quite well, and I think that's all they'll need while Metcalf is recovering. Trav, what are you doing? Does that mean also? I know this is going ahead to next week's episode, guys, and make sure you're subscribing because you do not want to miss next week's Supercoach episode. That is for sure. Does that mean you're both going away from, I'm guessing, one of the most popular Supercoach players to be picked this year in Pezzett?
No, I've got Pezzett.
I've got Pezzett as well.
Oh, you're on cheapies. Look out. Okay.
Yeah, I've
Talk
actually
to us,
got the
Trav.
cheapies. I changed that. I have been playing with my 5'8s a fair bit, but the more and more I play with it, the more and more I'm just not keen on anybody. And I keep finding myself having the money, or not having the money, but saving the money, and I keep putting Cody Walker in at 390k, and then I'm like, well, do I really want to do that when I can just push that down to Pezzett and think that I'm probably going to get the same out of Pezzett? And now I've got him for 235. So now I pushed him down to that. And then I just keep trying to play with it. And every time I go back down to Walker because I can't do what I want to do. And then I end up with Pezzett. So, yeah. So then who was my backup 5'8", and it became Tamari Martin. And because I read an article saying that he's currently, oh, what did I read? I read something from from over New Zealand on my socials that popped up saying that he's the favourite for the halfback spot. So
Hopefully.
I can't remember where I read it. I read it a couple of days ago, but yeah. So but like, we're seeing photos of Moses of Davey Mawali playing next to Hughes in a drill, and everyone's going, oh, maybe he's going to be the 2RF. Like it's currently just that's what's happening at the moment, and so we all interpret it what it is. If Tamari Martin's named, he will be my backup 5'8". If he's not named, I'll probably play around with it and end up. I reckon I'll end up probably dropping, because I think everyone else in my list is going to play. I think I'll probably drop that down to someone at 201k and just save myself another 30ks.
Perfect. Anything else to add on this halfback position, boys?
Nope.
No.
And just to add on to Lukey Metcalf quickly, Jesse, everyone had him because he's an absolute gun. He's a stud, and you're just jealous you didn't have him. So
I did.
Shove that one up your clucker. Yeah,
I
you didn't hold on
very
to him
early.
as
No.
long as I did. You didn't get to enjoy the good moments.
I had the really
moments.
low, the really high, and then the really low, and I said, "Nah, I'm not doing this."
Can I just also say quickly, guys? I had some messages on the this video, especially from last week's episode. When Trav's video does that, and he just disappears randomly. It's not him cutting out. I'm very sure he just turns his video off. He's probably blowing his snozzer or something to get personal, but who knows what he's doing. He's probably coughing up a lung as well. But it's not losing connection, just to clarify that, the beauty of technology. 5'8", so Chanel Harris Davida is 539k, is almost the lock 5'8" position. Just spoke about Tamari Martin, and then Jai Lanane, just spoke to him about the injury. On track to be fit and available round one. Won't happen. He won't be seeing first grade at least for some time being. But Chanel Harris Tavita, boys, he snuck up a fair amount last year. He was doing some pretty good things, but 539k, no duel or anything like that. Is there any temptation? You just said it, Trav, as well. The 5'8" position is just one of those we've mentioned it every episode so far, and every team basically feels like you're going all the way up to Munster, or you just probably Pezzett and just
saving 460k or whatever it is and getting Pezzett. Again, and I'll echo what I said earlier. Chanel Harris Tavita is a very good player. I really like him, and a 53 average or 55 average last year. He was on my bench for most of the year last year, and I was quite happy to have that. And then I swapped him for Strange when Strange was about to go and do his run, and was very happy that that's what I did. but I got no interest at 539k for him. That unfortunately, a good player, just not super coach relevant for me.
Jesse, anything to add?
No, not really. He's just a bit much. His relevancy last season was actually really good. I will admit. Like he was as consistent as a 55 you're ever going to get. Just managed to get there all the time. 50, 59, 51, 55, 59. It was just consistent as. So that 55 average is actually bang on. Very few low games and quite a couple, fair few high games too. His kicking's rubbish. He's not going to do it. There's a few things, thereabouts, but not at that price, unfortunately. If it drops 200k, I'm all over it.
He does have the odd big game in him, but like you said, he's
Yeah.
pretty consistent, and I feel like he'd actually be a decent draft prospect to get. It's a position where we're not very, very hot on a lot of players. If you end up with someone like him towards the back end, it's not a bad pickup there. Centre
Especially
wings,
with their buys. The Wars buys is around 10, 14 and 9 and 18. Like they're pretty other than that 18, the rest of them are pretty good. So like even then that's where that Harris Tavita draft pickup comes even more important because of the buys.
get away anyone in the League of Inches Div 1 draft, that's my boy. Leave him for me for last pick. Be nice. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 670k. Alofiana Khan-Pierre, new recruit from the Gold Coast Titans, 541. Tane Tuapiki, fullback dual, 502k. Ali Liatawa, 452k. Adam Pompey, 448k. Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak, 402k. Rocco Berry, 332k. And then a couple of guys, once I've read those, 7 players who would not look out of place starting. Unfortunately, 7 doesn't go into 4 because we'll talk about fullback next. So there's 3 players who would just look totally at home in a starting jersey who won't be there. So let's talk, boys. Is there any value? Can we find anything? It's hard to say who's a lock in these positions because really I'm looking and I reckon there's only one player, Tuivasa-Sheck, who is an absolute lock to be playing. I reckon he'll get a wing spot guaranteed. What do we think?
You reckon a wing spot?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's wing most of last year?
Yeah, but you've got Khan Pereira and Dallin. It's like surely.
I don't like him at centre. The things we've seen from him, I think he does his best work at wing, and I think I've always said this, when some of your better players, I think Roger's still one of their best players, you put him in their best position. I think that for him at the moment is wing.
Fullback.
No. You're wing.
You're dreaming. We want that to happen, but that's not happening.
I know. It's not gonna.
Hey, their best centre is actually Chance Nickel-Klokstad, and he won't even play there. So
yeah, it's too confusing, and I think that's the reason why I'm just not super interested. I like a lot of these players, but I just don't know if I would, buy any of them in Classic. Again, this is a draft team. You can really get away with just like rolling the dice week by week with a couple of these dudes.
That'd be stressful because you just don't know who's going to be named each week.
Just wait for the team list. You're good to roll. But I really like RTS. I think I started with him last year. I really like Khan Pereira. I think Titans are mad for letting him go, but the dude scores tries. He has to be starting. Surely he's on the wing. Topiki's great. Leatawa's a weapon. Like these dudes are really good. But again, like where do they all fit? Who misses out? I'm just going to avoid for now and just watch and admire. And when they get rolling and things look settled, I might jump on someone. But yeah.
If they do what I reckon they should do, the Warriors, and I'm obviously no head coach, guys, newsflash, but I would be going all in with Tuapiki this year. And if they did that with that duel with the centre wing as well, I reckon it'd be really fun to have at centre wing. Whether at some point, I don't know when, that's for you boys to tell me, but I think at fullback, going all in with him, he would be extremely fun. We've always said here, whenever you can get the opportunity to own a fullback in that centre wing position, it's gold. So could be a fun own, Trav.
That's my favourite thing to do. A fullback in the centre wing, named as a centre wing, that's my favourite Supercoach spot. But if they name Tane Tuapiki to start the year, I'll be eager to do it, but I still won't do it because he'll more than likely only last 2 weeks and then he'll get put somewhere else and someone else will go through. Like, you just don't know, right? It's that's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
everyone can see it. Everyone can see it. And Webster's a freaking good coach. I'm not going to argue around this, and don't misconstrue these words by that. I think he's a great coach. But you just, like, we know where RTS's best position is, and he's not going to get named there. We know that Tuapicki's going to be their best fullback, and he probably won't get named there because you've got Nickel Clockstad who wants to be the fullback. Like, I think Nickel Clockstad's their best centre, but I also like Rocco Berry. I think he's a really good player too. And I'm just going to sit and watch. And even when they do go and have that one or two freakish games in a row, I'm still not going to want to get them because that'll probably be what it is, and 3 and 4, and then I've got another problem I've got to try and deal with. I'll just watch from afar.
Yep. Second that.
I third that, so let's move on. Fullback, just spoke about him. Chance Nickel Clockstad, 521k, and Tane Tuapicki with that duel, obviously. 521k, if he's... I'm not even going to go there. I'm not interested.
No, I'm not either. There's too many other fullbacks at the moment around that price that are, much higher upside, much less injury prone, much more exciting. I just don't think, like, he had a really good. Actually, you know what? I'd say the first third of the season last year, he was immense. His average was really high. He was a really good option to get in there, and a lot of people bought him for that and just fell off a cliff and then disappeared. So, yeah, I've got little to no interest in Nickel Klugstad.
Yep, no, absolutely agree. That's it for the Warriors, guys. Yeah, it's sort of feel like the Warriors, to sum them up. There's one or two diamonds in amongst a lot of watching, a lot of grazing for us to do at the moment, especially in just a big one is to watch Team List Tuesday, round 1, to see who actually gets named. That's as big as it comes. So keen to see what happens. Keen to see that backline, how it actually shapes up. I personally would go to a picky. Personally, I'd put Chans at centre, but let's just see what Webster does. One thing we've just clearly noticed is they've got some extreme quality and depth when it comes to that outside back position. So they're not in a worry at all, and they can handle a couple of injuries as well, which a lot of clubs out there actually can't at the moment. So that's a really good spot for them to be in. Let's go to the next side, which is the Gold Coast Titans. Their first 5 games is round 1 against the Sharks away. Round 2, the Dolphins away. Round 3, the Cowboys away. So 3 away games to start the year, which isn't ideal. Round 4, the Dragons at home. And round 5, the Broncos at home. Their injury concerns, there is no concerns that will impact them from round 1 onwards. 1 or 2 little niggles that are picked up at the moment, but they'll be all good, all sweet to go. So at the moment, full strength. Is that saying much for the Titans at this stage? Not really, but let's delve into what are we thinking, boys? Is the Titans have been obviously not a great watch for many reasons in the past. They've always had 1 or 2 players there that feel like they've been very Supercoach relevant. Are we sitting in the same sort of boat again for the Titans this year? There's more interest. There's even less interest. If that's even possible, Jesse?
The only players of note for the Titans that are, actually, the Titans have Supercoach relevant players. I will say, defensively they are not there. Offensively, they can get going, which just makes for good Supercoaching.
Yeah.
So for relevance, Supercoach relevance, by God, there's probably 4, I would say, Titans that you could comfortably have in your team and actually do quite well with.
So what you're saying is Titans get Supercoach.
Titans get Supercoach. They just don't get footy.
Maybe that's their problem. On Mondays, they go back and they're like, oh, coach, I actually got a 90 this week. He's like, yeah, but you missed 20 tackles, brother. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. No good. Just leave Tino out there for 80, please. We all want that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really fancy their prospects this year. I never really do, unfortunately, for them. Hopefully they improve. They've got enough talent there to improve, but we say that every year. On a Supercoach point of view, though, I think they've got some pretty good options this season. So, yeah.
Trav, you're nodding.
Titan.
Yeah, like one of the worst teams in the competition is one of our favourites for Supercoach. It's a funny old realm we live in.
Let's delve into it then. Let's attack this one. I'm intrigued by this now. Sam Verrills, 538k. This is obviously for the hooker position. Luke Summerton, Penrith recruit, 235k. And Oliver Pascoe, which I don't think we'll see any game time this year. Sam Verrills, 538k, average 55.1 last year. Luke Summerton, a Penrith recruit. I'll tell you now, boys. There's some big raps on this guy. He's a quality player. Obviously, has come from the Penrith junior system, and we all know what happens with those sorts of guys. They're just bona fide studs that unfortunately Penrith can't keep majority of them anymore. They get picked apart. So Titans have got a good one on their hands. How much he sort of plays and what he does in terms of Sam Verrills' minutes as well will be the big question. I feel like both are probably watches to start with, guys. Tell you what, though, if there's a Sam Verrills injury, touch wood, we don't obviously wish that upon anyone. Luke Summerton at 235k will become one of the most popular Supercoach players I think everyone will own.
If he starts, well, they might just put the faith back in Randall like they always do.
Pretty much.
So I don't really have much interest in Summerton because I don't think he's going to get much of a look in. Verrills has had a good run the last 2 years to avoid injury. I put him in the same injury mold as Egan most of the time, but he played 21 games last year and he played 23 the year before that. So he's coming good. There's no value in him at 538 for upside. You're basically getting him at sort of the higher point of his averages that he's ever really put out, but he's a good player. It's just, again, no value, too much money at hooker for very little upside. So yeah, sorry, Sam. Draft pick for me, maybe.
You and Trav have spoken before this podcast because majority of what you've said so far, Trav's had his bobblehead going. He's nodding galore. Trav, you agree?
Yeah, we actually didn't speak about the podcast before this. We spoke about NBA and complained about how annoying the NBA Supercoach realm is, but
isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't talk about this. No, for once we didn't go. We haven't. But yeah, if I was going to go and get Verrills, I'd go get Egan. Like I'd rather that than to start with. I just wouldn't do it. But yeah, again, for a hell of a lot less, I can go and get the guy that I'm going to talk about in 2 more teams. Unfortunately, that's what it is. And I do second your call on Summerton. I do agree that there is big raps about him, but I just don't think they do it. I think they do exactly what Jesse said. If Verrills does go down, it becomes Randall that plays the hooker and off they go. Not this year anyways.
Hope not. I hope for the Titans that they just go in on all these youth players and these sorts of guys and just give them opportunities and let them run if the opportunity arises. Front row forwards, Mo Fodawaker, 507k. Jermaine Joller, 502k. Curtis Morin with a 2RF dual. Bulldogs recruit, 260k, so a massive drop off there. Arama Howe, 235k. And the favourite last year has lost his jewel, so he'll be not owned at all this year. Tui Simpkin for 235k. Didn't he have that one game, boys? We actually got like a 50 or something. And
he came through as
awesome.
like a buy round or something. When we needed him too, it was amazing. Yeah, it was the best thing.
I feel like only him just to remember him, and he
you know what?
He's earned this jersey again. I feel like
FRF4. It's a shame his jewel's gone because I would 100% go back to Simpkins.
What about the rest? No,
doesn't it
else.
Suck not being able to get Tino at front row forward?
It's horrible.
God, it's horrible.
Locks are front row forwards. I'm sick of saying it, Supercoach. Locks are front row forwards. They play in the middle. They're not on the edge. They play in the freaking middle.
Yeah. Maybe one day they'll listen. I doubt it.
But to make the front row forward position quick, no interest in anyone else.
No.
Quickly.
Not at all.
I've got one for you.
Go on.
Curtis Morin, 260k. He's obviously got something. We've seen him at the Bulldogs. He's a really decent player. Let's just call a spade here. The Titans pack is rubbish. They've also lost a couple of players as well. Their back rowers, you can say at least one of them is a bona fide gun. Their lock, bona fide gun. The rest is out in the open. I reckon there's a bit of chance here that Curtis Morin can actually get some pretty decent minutes. It's very clear he's gone for an opportunity. Otherwise, you wouldn't leave a team that was on the up and constantly improving. I think you'll get that. And I'm keen to see I don't think I'll start with him, but I can see him being someone that a lot of people downgrade to over the first 2 to 3 weeks to get some cash flow back in. He started playing that 60-odd minute role or something like that. There's some decent points there. He's busy. He's tackling his ass off. I'm keenish. I don't know.
You might be onto something.
Thank you.
You might be onto something. I'll be completely honest, eh? Like, I never looked at him. I never humoured it. I didn't think much of it. Curtis Morin's a good player.
He is.
At the Dogs, obviously, opportunity was limited. If it shows up for him at the Titans, you never know, man. You never know, because, like, 260, he's 30k away from enough territory.
Yeah.
And he's a jewel. So, you know, he's not far off that point anyway. If you find yourself with an extra 30k and you're sitting with a 235 FRF4, you may as well, on the chance, if it does come around to a point where he's like a 20-minute guy and he's knocking out 15, 18 points and he's like a Royce Hunt regen.
Oh, don't tell us.
Then you're in a bad spot, because then he's going to go down. You're going to lose.
Jesse's done it. Don't even go any further. You've just mozzed him. That's what it is. Royce Hunt's done. As soon as you mention that name, that's it. It's all over.
I'm not saying he's going to be a Royce Hunt. He's a good, I'm not saying Royce Hunt shit either.
You've mozzed him. You've mozzed him.
Yeah, I've cursed him now.
You can't do it. You've just done the curse. Sorry, everybody. We have to look elsewhere.
Yeah,
thanks,
whoopsies.
Jesse.
Sorry, guys. Tag that one in.
No.
Keep an eye out. See how he goes. He could be a downgrade at some point, or he could plummet.
I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to write this down and come back to you guys after about round 5 when you're all going, get him in. I'm going to go, hey, yeah.
You've lost 60k on him.
All right, let's go to RF. Tino lost his jewel. Just spoke about that. 687k. Bo Fermor, 650k. Chris Randall, 456k. Cleese Haas, 410k. And then Josh Paxton, 275k. Just spoke about Curtis Morin. Cooper Bye didn't originally start on the app, but then obviously quickly realised they made a big mistake there, because I think this guy's in for a massive year this year off the bench, 235k. And Brock Gray, 235k. Boys, I think there's a couple of little talking points in this position for the Titans. There's a couple of guys who we know have done well in the past. Tino at 687. There kind of feels like there's some weird value there. I don't know.
Bargain. It's a bargain. I don't understand how he's 687. Like, I know he averaged 70. I feel like he averaged 80, to be fair.
I feel like I'm missing
687. I'm looking at him in my team, and he's got a little...
At round 11, he was averaging 82.
Yeah.
And then 79, then 77, then 73, then 72, then 72, then 68. He played busted and got down to finishing on a 70 average.
Thank God. Take that. Thank you, Tino. He prepped himself for this season. He's currently in my team.
Yes.
Yeah. He's currently in my team. I'm looking at the list, and he's got a red line next to him to take him out of my side. So it means he's in there on this rendition of, team building. But yeah, I love it. I love Tino. I think you could do no wrong with Tino. Even at 100k more than what he already is, I think you can still buy Tino. So,
do you want to know something funny about Tino? Tino was 531 last year. Was in so many teams. He ended up at 585.
Yeah.
At one point was 700. At one point was 756. Was when he was averaging 82. Like, yeah. All that tells you is that Tino's a stud and the Titans suck. That's all that says to me.
Shout out to you Titans fans and the Gold Coast Titans. We love you. Frizzell's sponsor the podcast, please. Are we all just going to lock him in then? Do you reckon he
is in my
pretty
team?
much
Yes.
a must-have?
Yeah,
he is a must.
He's a guy, man. He's that guy.
And it literally doesn't matter how bad the Titans go or if they have another poor year. He doesn't stop. He's just that guy. He just doesn't stop. Bo Fermor, 650k, no centre wing duel anymore, which I feel like hurts him a bit.
He's not going to the centres
yet.
They just got rid of Fafita and put him on the left edge. He's not going anywhere. He's going to play that left edge, mate. What do you want about?
Man? Who knows? He always finds his way to 3 games in the centres at some point. He always does.
It's true, but it's not happening.
He'll play 3 games in the centres, get a jewel, and then he'll go back to the edge. He'll just do it for the super coaches, man. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. I'll wait till he's a centre. That's me.
Do you know what's funny is he's 37k cheaper than Tino, and I'm all in for Tino, and I'm not in for Fermor.
It's because he's 37k cheaper than Tino. Why would you get Fermor?
Exactly.
Good point.
Fermor's great too. Like he's super reliable. Such a good player. Can you have 2 Titans? I wouldn't. 30k more.
Yeah.
That's
Especially in the same position.
That's your Moran money down to enough. Easy.
There he is. That's why we've got him, guys. He's just constantly matrix in his head. Numbers are spinning. Cooper Bye, the only other one I want to touch on here, 235k. Yeah. There's something about this guy. There is something about him that I just want a piece of.
It's because you love his dad. Let's be honest. Yes. But geez, I hope the Storm come and get him. I really do. But yeah, there is a lot about him. He's an absolute stud in the making. He's in my team sitting on the bench because the Titans just don't have anyone else.
Alrighty. So I've not done this yet. So that was a live react. Holy moly, if you caught it. I've brought up some reserve numbers for Cooper Bye.
I love when you go
I'm going to call him Cooper Bay. Because
he'll be Bay after this.
Yeah, he's going to be Bay after this. So 7 games. Is this last season? It is last season. 5 games off the bench, 2 games at lock. The 2 games at lock, he averaged 83.1. He had a base and power of 60. He scored 1 try and basically just was a demon. Played 69 minutes. The 5 games that he came off the bench, 78.2. With a base of 57, base and power 57. So didn't make much of a difference. Scored 4 tries in those 5 games. He scored 5 tries in 7 games and he averaged 55 minutes off the bench. Points per minute, 1.44. If this is anything to go off, 7 games with basically an 80 average with a base of 60.
Have we lost him?
Hello? Am I here?
Hello, Jesse.
Hello.
Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Jesse's that excited.
He's full-blown
his internet
frozen.
No way.
Yeah, who knows what's happened there? His internet, maybe some weather around. So
Joel, Cooper Bye is in my team on the bench because they just got no one else. The dude's a freak. We already know that. The Storm are chasing him real hard. So we know this guy's a stud. We know this guy is there and ready to go.
Hello.
Cooper Bye.
Am I back? It broke.
He broke the internet. Cooper Bay has broken your internet.
That's insane. I went through everything too. So where did you hear me up to? Sorry.
I was lost. Honestly, let's just sum it up by saying this guy's a freak.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just quickly really sum it up. He played 7 games in reserve grade. He averaged 80, and he scored 5. He scored 5 tries.
Yep.
Okay, and the Titans are shit, so there's a good chance he gets some really good minutes this year because he's already shown in 1 game that he played last year in first grade as well that he can handle. He's got what it takes. So, and yeah, let's just get all on board the Cooper Bay train. Halfback, Jaden Campbell. I can't believe he broke your internet. That's not a sign to get him, Jesse. You've got rocks in your head, brother.
Through that. Coming on in.
No duel anymore, unfortunately. This is a big arrow to the heart for Jaden Campbell. 711k though. Lockie Elias, 320k. If they start the way I personally think, and I've said it a number of times now that Titans should start, that for mine would suggest Elias is halfback. Campbell goes to 5'8". He gets his duel. Everyone is happy. If it starts the way the coach has already hinted at, he wants to see things happen. This was before the Christmas break, so a lot can happen, and he might just be saying it because he's just gotten there. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He has mentioned already that he does want to see it be a Brimson and a Campbell halves pairing with Brimson playing that 5'8" role. Do you like Jaden Campbell if it's only halfback? Boys, I know you both have been huge on him over the last almost 2 years of Supercoach, really. You speak about him every chance you basically get. Each year you spend time with him in your team for a large chunk. Is there temptation at the moment? Where are you at with him?
I can't do it, unfortunately. unfortunately. I love Jaden Campbell. He's lost his two most appealing positions. 5'8" fullback for me. It's just too hard. Like 711k, he's priced at his peak. He averaged 72.8. That's his highest ever average. The season before was 71.5. So still really good. Still super consistent. You know he's going to get you a 70 average, which consists of like 130s to 40s, you know? So there's a lot in him. There's a big swing there. I think he's fantastic. It's just he's your halfback, you know? Like he's your premium halfback. You are taking him over Cleary, you're taking him over Hines, you're taking him over like the guys. So he's right up in there. It's just I really want him in a different position. Just kind of you want them all, you know. I can't really do it right now, but I hope he gets the jewel somewhere.
Trav, I reckon you're in the same boat here. So I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. Let's just say Cleary and Hines are obviously the two above him, and that's pretty clear out there to most super coaches. Would you have him ahead of Moses and Walker then, or would you have both of them ahead of him still? Especially when you take into account pricing and things like that.
Yeah, so no. Unfortunately, he's just in that annoying price range at 7-11.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that.
Not a podcast ad either.
No, but he's just at that weird price. Like I would prefer to find 38,000 more and get Hines, or I would prefer to save 200 odd K, or just under 200 odd K and go down to Moses. Like I'm not keen. And the reason why I'm not keen is not because Jaden Campbell's not a good player. He's a stud. And if you talk about unicorn points, Joel, you messaged me a number of times last year being cranky about bloody Jaden Campbell getting unicorn points when we were playing each other a few times. He gets them. He has an ability to just find stats and find points for Supercoach. But he's at an odd price that I don't like, and he's in a situation that I just don't like, and I need to wait and see just what happens there. And if I have to pay up a little bit more to get Jaden Campbell, because I just can't see Jaden Campbell making too much more money, he becomes out of range. So yeah, I'm happy to watch and see, and if the combinations work, then I'll be all over it. If the combinations don't, I'll be like, well, that sucks because this guy's a good player.
Seriously, the amount of times that bloke's been on 10 or 15 or 20 with 10 to go and ends the game with 70 odd, I don't have enough toes and fingers to count. It's just ridiculous. He just, the king of unicorn. Like there is some times where he does go a little bit crazy towards the end. He's obviously a very fit player, but Supercoach, please. Questions.
And let's be honest, you've got 6 toes on it on both feet, and so like there's extra numbers there. So.
That's heaps. That's heaps of toes.
Keep fueling me. Keep punching and pushing the bear, mate. I've embarrassed you in Supercoach the last 2 years. I'll do it again to make it the third. Are we moving on? 5'8"?
I think so.
Brimson, 5'8", the only 5'8" at the Titans apparently. 649k. I don't even think it's his best position personally, and I think if the Titans were serious about things, he'd probably end up in the centre position. 649k, I don't want to go anywhere near that.
No.
Even if he's at 5'8", if.
No, I just, we know what 5'8's like this year. He's one of the dearest ones. Like, no, not for me. Not at all. Not even if he's not going to be even, locked in too. Like, we're all talking about him not even being the 5'8 of choice. You're not paying that sort of figure.
Trav's going to end this podcast with a sore neck by the time he's finished because he's spent majority so far looking at his second screen. He's got numbers galore going as well, guys. So you've got two guys that just are in love with the Matrix here. You're really in the know 24/7. But Trav, are you the same? Is there any way you can think of starting Brimson?
Donuts. Zero interest.
Yep.
Perfect. Move on. See you later. Philip Sami, centre wings, 623k. Brian Kelly's in here, but he's obviously left to the Parramatta Eels. Jojo Fafita, 483k. Max Feeney, our new recruit from the Dolphins, 438k. Jalen de Groot, no fullback duel anymore, 315k. Tony Francis, 286k. Special guest, we had an interview with him actually a few months ago, so check that out if you haven't already. Tell you what, boys, it's...
Move on. Slim pickings. Move on.
They let Brian Kelly go. Okay, I mean that's the
I
okay.
know.
No worries.
Isn't that madness? That's a spot opened up for Brimson.
Yeah.
Should have been. Should be.
What are you
Yeah,
going
if
to
this
do?
doesn't force their hand to actually, so they have a decent looking side, they just have to. It just the balance of their side just works so much better with Brimson at centre. It just
You
has to
saw
work.
exactly what happened when he played in the centres in the last few games last year. Like
Yeah, boom.
he was one of the best on field.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he's
sorry,
so busy there
Titans.
too. What do we see that, they're not up in Gold
No
Coast?
idea.
So, yeah. Spion.
Fullback. Let's talk about this. Is a guy. This is a stud. This is a gun. This is
No, no,
literally a must-have
settle,
in capital letters.
settle down. We don't want anyone else to pick him up.
Oh, honestly, everyone will have this guy. Keanu
Yes, they
Keeney,
will.
Yeah.
495k. Started to give us a little tease for the New Zealand side in the internationals and what he can do. What we remember what he can do. Obviously, last year injury riddled, unfortunately, and then just Des decided to play silly buggers, which actually helped us a lot in the end of when it came to Supercoach because it dropped his price dramatically and it's made him what he is. Simply pick him, start him wherever you either fullbacks or flex, whatever it is, put him there, boys, because and I'll let you guys run away with this one. Especially I'll go to Trav first because he's been big on Keeney for a while, but that's a ridiculous price for Keanu Keeney.
I had Keanu Keeney in 2024. Wanted to start with him last year. He was in my team, got injured before the season started. And wanted to get him back at the end of the year, but just couldn't because I was running out of trades. I thoroughly enjoy watching Keanu Keeney. He's just a live wire. He's got so much skill. I've got him in my top 5 fullbacks as a plug to our position analysis, Joel. But yeah, this dude's a freak. He has to be. If he's not 100% owned, you have rocks in your head. If for those that do not have him.
Yeah, he will be by far the most owned player we've seen probably for the last couple of years, I reckon. 495. He's a freak. He's the first player in the team. 2024, played 16 games, averaged 71.31. But the big thing with Keeney, and the thing I love the most about him, he's so busy. His base is phenomenal. I think, as far as fullbacks go, I can only think of Dylan Edwards that has a higher base than Keeney does. So that season, because he got it right last year off, the 2024 year, he had a base and power of 48. Like 48 for a fullback. Like you're talking like, okay, so just to perspective that, Scott Drinkwater, like one of the highest averaging fullbacks that we've had for the last probably 3-4 years, his base is about 25. So he's almost doubling that in itself. Like he's that busy, he's that good. And yeah, he just explodes. So I'm super keen on Keeney, and I'm keen to say that about 4,000 times this year. So
That's 3 buzzers. I almost would say he gets the golden buzzer, Keanu Keeney. That's just simply an all-in, a must in our opinions. And I'd go as far as saying, covering off the Titans, I think he is the go-to must-have. I'd have him ahead of Fast Sumala Howie, actually. I just think he's in for a hell of a year. I'm so keen to sit back, watch, and at this stage, hopefully touch wood, he stays injury-free. Have him from start to finish. Thank you very much.
yeah.
That's it. Let's get over to the Cronulla Sharks, and we'll start with the Cronulla Sharks at hooker. We won't start there. We'll start with their first 5, which will be the Gold Coast Titans at home, the Penrith Panthers away, the round 3 is the Dolphins at home, round 4, the Raiders away, and round 5, the Warriors at home. Then injury side of things, the Sharkies obviously have Cameron McInnes, a bit of a watch at the moment. NRL Physio has him anywhere between rounds 1 to 6. So he's a bit of a freak when it comes to this sort of stuff. He can recover quite quickly. And I reckon he may have maybe a couple of weeks just to not push anything too much. It is just round 1. Clubs go pretty much on the safe side, the cautious side. And then Ronaldo Mulatalo, obviously that ACL at the end of the year, which means he's basically been rubbed out for majority of the season. If he does come back, it's very, very late, and I just don't think anyone will go there, unfortunately, for Ronaldo this year. Snapshot, boys, Cronulla Sharks. There's obviously always the likes of like Nico, AFB. We're going to talk about all these guys at length, but your snapshot on the Sharks before we get into it, Trav. You keen on the Sharkies this year from a Supercoach point of view?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I've gone throughout most of my teams having someone here and there and everywhere in my team. There's heaps of interest. I've got one of my favourite centres in my team. I've had their halfback. I've had a front row forward. I've even had a 2RF in my team at some point, which we'll talk about. So, yeah, there is heaps and heaps of interest in this Supercoach team.
Same page, Jesse?
Yep, pretty much. They always are. They've got pretty bloody good players across the board. Their footy prospects are always pretty similar too. Very consistent team, very fit team, very reliable too. You know what I mean? You never really get stung too bad with the Sharkies. Just expectations kind of get a little bit out of hand, and that's sort of what's our downfall. But they're all pretty good, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get into it. Let's get really knee deep into this one. Let's start at hookers. Blake Brayley, a guy that we always say each and every year. We look back on the season and go, we wish we just played him and had him from the start. And this time though, he's almost made the decision for us. Priced at $654K. Unfortunately, it's a hefty price. But again, he averaged last year 66.9 and has deserved that price tag. Got it for a reason. Jaden Beryl. We're seeing glimpses of this guy in trials and then throughout this World Cup. He is a great, great player. Still a little bit young, potentially, and I just don't think Brayley's shown any signs of where slowing down yet. So while he's an 80-minute hooker, these guys, these depth hookers for them at the club won't be an issue. So, boys, is it a price issue now for Blake Brayley for you both? It's just you can't do it, or is there any of you going, you know what, I'm still keen to go right ahead with this bloke?
Still not going to do it. Still not going to do it.
There's something, I feel like there's something about it though. He's just oh man.
You know what? Like, he's $650 now. That's expensive. Yeah. He was $5 for $550 every other year, and he was too expensive. So now that he's $100K more, we're like, oh, you know what? He might be a good buy. It's like, no, man, we missed it. I don't really think he's going to go back to being a 55 average guy. I think he is that high top tier now. You know what I mean? Like, he sort of just exploded. He's going to, I think, who was it? Was it Josh's comments? He's going to make the Blues squad. I think he does. I think it's a fantastic call too. It's just, he's 50K more than Grant now.
Yeah.
That's hard, isn't it? Like, you're going to buy him 50K more than Grant? He had those games, and when the team bounced off him, when it was him and Nico, he had that really, really hot purple patch that went on for quite a while towards the end. Man, they went well. Like, they were such a good-looking side, and they were just pumping it out. And, like, if that's the case, he's not a 65 average guy. He's like an 80 average guy, which is where, you look at him and go, damn, there's value. So if that comes out, if it starts off early, and it's like Brayley's that 75 plus dude, like doing Grant things that we're used to, or things that Brayley was doing just late last year, I probably could be tempted, honestly, because he will get away from you pretty quick at that point. But yeah, 650 in my hooker, man. I'm not going to do it. I'll never do it.
Quick rapid fire question for you both before Trav can give his detailed answer. And I'll start with you, Jesse. Draft, we keep speaking about draft. We're getting keen for it. It is only a few weeks away now before we're probably drafting our own sides. You got the choice between him or Grant. Who would you be drafting first? Because I feel like this is the year where it's the closest it's ever been between these two. And I actually think there'll be some out there who, putting a vote out to like a story, if we did it to our stories, I think Blake Brayley would gain a lot more support than I think a lot of people think.
Oh, I think he will now. I think if you asked that last season at the beginning, it would be 99-1, on the Grant side. I think it would just come down to, and I would do the research on the fixtures and the late run and like how do finals look for draft, etc. Where are the buys? Are we playing buy rounds? All that kind of stuff. I would break that down. I think you're splitting hairs. Hey, I think you can go either way, and I don't think you'll get disappointed. I'm pretty sure they're both going to be the 1 and 2. It'll be that 1-2 punch of the top two hookers, and they'll probably average 5 points apart at the end of the season.
Which
if
is
the run
massive
looks
in itself.
Yeah, well, it's a credit to Brayley and how how good he's become over the last 12 months, sort of thing. So, out of draft value, out of pick value, I would probably go Grant's the name. Out of what you'll get, I think it's pretty similar. I just don't think you're going to get any issues when it comes to Brayley's minutes. I don't think there's going to be restings there. But if there is an Origin call up, that dampens it a lot. So,
Trav, here's your answer, and then go into obviously a bit more about Brayley's Supercoach season.
Blake has round 7, round 12, round 17 buys. So they have pretty good buys for the draft. I haven't looked at the Storm just yet, but just to answer what Jesse was saying about that. And obviously everyone's talked about how good their draw is. The draft finals is what, 22, 3, 4, 23, 4, 5, and 6, isn't it? So, and that's when they play the Raiders in 24, the Titans 25, Para 26. So,
oh my God.
it's, you know, and the Dragons in 23, because it starts out a little bit earlier. Look, I'd probably take I'd probably take Brayley just because there's a view that he plays Origin, whereas Grant is going to play Origin. So, you know, there's a lot of things happening for the Blues in that hooker position, and whether he just sticks with Robson because that's where it's going. Does Egan pop up because there was talk about him last year? Like I just wouldn't. I agree. I think Brayley should be. He was in my team last year for the Blues that I picked, but I think just based off what it is, we don't know whether he's doing that, and we know that Grant is.
That was anything but rapid fire from both of you as well, by the way. That's living up to our name.
No, we do.
Do I like Brayley? I absolutely do. Yeah, I really do. And at 655, I'm all over that as well. Brayley did exactly what we wanted him to do last year, right? We were going to get him at 519k and get that 55, and we all wanted to do it. And I said I was going to do it, and I didn't freaking do it, and I wish I did. And then I was happy just to have him. And I said all along, let's put him at hooker and just sit there, right? And how good would it have been when he went bang, bang, and just went nuts the rest of the year? In the last 12 games, he averaged 78. You know, so he goes from a 55 average to a 78 average in the last 12. Like, it's just stupid. If he continues that, he keeps pushing that, he becomes must-have territory, and you've got to get it, and that's a hooker. So I'll be watching very keenly. But no, I haven't got him in there because I've saved 230k on someone else, but I have no problems with people getting him at all.
Cronulla hooker really isn't the worst way to go either, let's be fair. So there's many worse hookers out there that you can go for. So
certainly is.
Like Brayley, get on him. It's value. Okay, front row forwards. Aden Fanua-Blake, 638k. Tom Hazelton, 415k. I've got myself on my own joke. I don't know why I've done that. Oregon Kafusi, 386k. Braden Hamlin, Ellie, 339k. Jesse Calhoun, 2RF Jewel as well, 332k. Toby Rudolph, 330k. And Tuku Hal Tapuha, 235k. Apologies again if I have absolutely stuffed that, which I've got no doubt I just did. I reckon there's a guy here. There's two guys here we're going to be talking about, I think. Aden Fanua-Blake, 638k. Is he still the big dog? Is he still the beast? Is he still the Supercoach gun? There was some questioning that throughout periods last year. He did have a couple of games where he was like reminded everyone and said, "Yeah, this is who I am," type thing. 638k. There's a good group of front row forwards available, boys. Is he someone on your radars at the moment, or just going by the wayside?
Wayside.
Look,
for me,
oh,
Trav.
I'll go.
For it.
No, go.
No, you
start
please.
Start with the negative, and I'll go the positive.
All right, done. I think at this stage of the year, looking at front row forward, looking at the difference between him and a Keon, going down just slightly to the Carrigan with the duel, 2k difference. The draw's really nice. I think everyone's going to have Haas to start. You're going to find yourself with that extra, 600 mid 600k front row 2. You go down to Trey Mooney for 200k less. it's kind of tricky. I wouldn't say I'm like super off Vanilla Blake. I'm definitely nowhere near as keen on him as I was when he was at the Warriors.
Mm.
And it hasn't been, anything else. Look at his seasons gone by. He scored 6 tries last year. You go to the Warriors thing and you think, geez, he's banging all these tries out. He's doing insane stuff, which he was. He scored 8 in 2024 and 8 in 2023, but he averaged almost like 8 more points too. So he's doing very similar things. It's not like there's a massive fall off a cliff. I'm just not super keen anymore. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. It doesn't really spark any joy for me. I just think there's other options. But at the same time, I think he's a very, very viable player. I think if you have him, you enjoy the run. He has these massive runs. He's going to give you a good 60 plus a week, at least. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's other front rowers at the moment just doing better.
I'm going to try and segue into Trav's positive space here when it comes to AFB, and let's see if I do this well. So I'm more so on your side, Jesse. I'm almost completely off. The only thing that's keeping me somewhat interested is the fact that it seems like the Sharks have, again, the best draw in the competition, the easiest draw in the competition. And I just think that means something when it comes to AFB and those tries that he gets, things like that. So that's the only slight thing, Trav, that's keeping me somewhat interested in AFB, even though it is quite small.
My turn. So I'll go the positive realm, and that I have found him in my team. But I will preface this conversation quickly with, if you have Kulamattangi for 30k more, I like that pick too. If you go to Carrigan, I really like that pick too. I don't think between the three of them there's a lot different. Carrigan's how much more money, or if we put a money value on Carrigan's duel, does that make him more appealing? I think so. I like that too. What I like about AFB is I like their draw. I like he doesn't play Origin. I like that he's now at the Sharks for another preseason and another year. And everyone talks about that, he lost his tries last year. So there was a bit of attacking upside that he lost, and that dropped a few points and all that sort of stuff. But he still led the comp in post-contact meters and run meters and things like that. Like, he still statistically was really good. So if he blends nicely again with Brayley, who has found his running game and his attack, there's only upside for AFB. And so I see a lot of upside and positivity around AFB. But he's priced at his average is 65.3. Do I see him getting a lot more than that? Maybe. I think at best, at max, he's going to get another 5 points, so he'll be around 70. I think we're going to be happy having another 65, and to be honest, I'm happy to have that at 638, because currently I've got him and Colo swapping in and out of that second front row forward position. I like it. I like what he's doing. I have no hatred towards that, and anyone that has their team with AFB in it, I'm not asking them to change or even questioning that at all.
Yeah.
You
I must be
boys
the
have done
only
a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I must be the only person that thinks their run isn't that fantastic, eh? I look at the Sharks draw and I'm like, this is at most okay.
Yeah,
At
I
most,
agree
it's
with you.
okay.
I agree. Their draw isn't great, but for him as a player, that's a good thing because he's a prop, right? So
Yeah.
he's got the Titans first up, which is great. Then he's got the Panthers in a game that they've got to win, but that's in Bathurst too. So it's not even the Panthers home game. Well, I mean it is, but it's in Bathurst. So, but again, like where does a player like AFB, have to step up? It's in those big time games, right? That's where we need those forwards to be, monsters to set your team up. And so that's where I think AFB still puts up his 65, 70 anyways. So, yeah, I agree with you in terms of the draw. I don't see it being as easy as people talk about it, like you, Jesse. But in terms of him, Supercoach-wise, in his position, I think it's a good run for him.
Yeah, like, hard games are going to benefit the big props too. I just don't know. Personally, I think you could definitely start with him that first round, watch him get a try, score 100 points, reward everyone that gives him that first run. But yeah, I look at the draw from rounds 1 to 12, and I'm this much interest in their fixtures as they are. So yeah, I must be looking at it. Obviously being Trav, but yeah, I don't know. If you've got him, sweet. I just think there's value somewhere else.
The other option on this list, I'm thinking you both are fairly keen on and have had in your sides at certain points so far the last month. Jesse Colquhoun, 332k to RF dual.
Look, I
Yeah,
haven't had
yeah,
him in my team. I don't like the 332. It's just expensive. And at the moment, I've got Paseka in my team, and I'm much more keener on him. But yeah, I will probably change off Paseka too because I just don't like having that much money sitting in my third front row forward spot. Um, there is a lot of rap about him. There really is, especially because McInnes is not playing, so they think that he's going to start at the 13 spot. Does he really have the game to? I don't know. I haven't really seen it. I just need to wait and see. I don't know. And there's a lot of mouths to feed in that Sharks team.
yeah,
I'm glad you went that way because I was actually going to say I'm getting a bit trappy sort of vibes from this guy
Yeah.
because I think he's a really good player, no doubt, and I think we'll see some fantastic things throughout the year. But people are like, oh, yeah, he's going to start the year, but we all know what McInnes' body's like and what he's like. It might be for 1 week, literally, or
yep,
maybe 2 at most, and he's already back. And once he gets back, he'll be playing lock from the start. McInnes, like he's just that guy. He'll do that. He'll push out an 80-minute performance first week back from an ACL recovery. He's a freak when it comes to that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, it might look all flashy when he's named round 1, but we all know McInnes is right around the corner.
mm,
And I just don't even think you'd even see a price rise to start with when it comes to Colquhoun
Mm.
because of
no,
obviously that happening. And he'll probably get a bench spot then. He might get the 25, 30-minute stints, but I don't think he'll be a guy that just works his butt off. So he'll probably be
yeah,
like a 1
A-
points per minute guys, and that's sort of it.
And I
yep,
agree. And I've heard lots of people go, oh, well, we'll start him, but there'll be some front row forward that'll jump up and, if he doesn't work, then I can trade him out. But now you're using a trade. And we've very much so talked about last year how important every single one of those 40 odd trades are. Like, yeah, I just don't, I prefer to try and not have to deal with that, and then deal with it. Like, yeah, I'm just
yeah,
not keen. I really do feel Trap City.
yeah. It's always going to be a temporary pick. That's the problem.
Yes,
It's
there it
at
is.
the most, it's always just going to be a short stint. And it's not worth it. He won't make enough coin.
Yeah.
So
Anyone else on this front row forward list you'd
no,
like to talk about?
nope, all good.
Perfect. 2RF. So Brinton Nakora, 570k. Cameron McInnes at 561k. Teague Wilton, 523k. Billy Burns, 468k. Sifa Talakai, 2RF and centre wing dual as well, 381k. Just spoke about Jesse Colquhoun. Hohepa Puru, 235k as well. Surely, boys, it is just back to all systems back to normal when it comes to the Sharks pack. Nakora gets his edge spot back, 570k. He didn't quite seem to hit his peak and what we've used to him doing throughout 2025, but he still averaged 58.3. Like, Jesse, I know you've been big on Nakora for a long
Yeah,
time. Are you looking again?
yeah, I am.
Mm,
I'm massive on Nakora. Nakora, going back just a couple years, was a top 3 second rower.
yeah.
Genuinely, the guy averaged 69 2 years in a row, just off of 70, and then drops down to 58. It's like it's a big drop very quickly, but at the same time, I like that because now he's cheaper. And we kind of
Mm.
know what we get out of Nakora. You know what I mean? Like he's got a great base. Last year his base and power was 46. The year before 53. Year before almost 55. He's priced at a 57. So it's like it's not that far away. I don't think you're really going to get him much lower. I think there'll probably be a window in the year where he does go quiet. Like he does have his little, quiet rounds. He might have 4 or 5 in a row, and everyone will just jump off him, and they'll be like, "Nah, I'm not interested." And then he just does Nakora things, man. He'll run the line, he'll get the tries, he'll get try. All of a sudden, 80 average, yeah, and he's the dearest one there. So I'm very tempted. Hey, I think him at 570, it's super, super appealing. If he was in the 600s, I wouldn't be as keen. But looking around him in the second row position at 570, I think for the pedigree and what we are used to from Nakora, I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, there's something about him at the moment for me, Trav, especially to start the year, and that I think there's some really nice matchups for him on that edge and his opposition and things like that. So I'm looking with some interest as well. Have we got three from three here?
He's been in my. He was another one, as I said at the start, that like every hooker, front row forward, 2RF, halfback. I've had at centre. I've had a Sharks guy in my team. He was that guy in the 2RF, but he's out. I'm not interested. Like he's shown that he's a second half a year guy, and in 2024, I got him right at that perfect time. And for the next half of the year, he realised that hey, I'm actually pretty good at this game that we call rugby league, and dominated the end of the second half of the year. And then we actually all thought we were going to get that again last year, and it didn't happen, right? We all fought to get him in around that origin period time, and it really hurt us. And Jesse, I think you tried to get him out. You had to get him out after a week or two. I can't remember what actually happened, but I'm not keen. I'm really not. I'm going to find 40k more and get Angus Crichton, 100%. And I'm not going to argue with that at all. I'm going to find even more money and push that to like 60 odd K and get Carrigan. I'm going to, depending on where you've got him in your first, second, or third spot in your 2RF, I'm going to drop him down for 90k and get Fafita, which we've already got, or even go even lower and get your Lukies and your Moonies and that sort of stuff. Like that's. Nika is just at a really odd price. Is he good? Hell yeah, best line runner in the competition in the edge back row. But yeah, no, not for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. There's a lot of options, a lot of value options. He doesn't really fit the value box for price rise, but yeah, I just think there will be a time for him, like always. It's a tricky one. Pick it.
Trav's done well. He's got me sort of off the boat now, so I'm on a half. So I'm going. It's a 1.5 win each way at the moment for Nakora. Anyone else in this 2RF position that you guys are keen on? Not for me.
No.
Halfback, and I think it's fair to say the only relevant person here is Nicho Hynes, 749k. Average 76.6 last year in 24 games. Talk to me, boys. What are we doing with Nicho Hynes? Once again, hot topic is Nicho Hynes, goal kicking, all the like.
What's there to go wrong? How can you go wrong with Prince Nicho? Genuinely.
Tell me.
I don't think you can. I love Nicho Hynes. I'm a big advocate. If I can find a way to have my starting halfback over 700k, I will go Nicho. I will go Nicho over Cleary confidently to start. If that's the choice you're going to table up between one or the other, I'm choosing Nicho every day. And yeah, I think the last 2 years we have seen his average settle at a 75. I think that's kind of where it is now with Trindle doing what he's doing. Obviously, before Trindle days, his average was 95, 90. I don't know if we'll get that as consistent. I still feel like we'll get the big games. I think we'll still see the 140s here and there. But what we've seen from him the last 2 years is what we'll see. And I don't hate it. Honestly, I don't hate it. He's still the best halfback, even on a bad day compared to what else there is. So,
wet hair Trindle, Trav, has he got you?
He's been in my team many times. It's just then I find myself going, oh, but I want Tino. Oh, I've got to find a little bit of cash to get Colo. So thank you. Sorry, the wife's just delivering some water. I've found. I've said to myself, I've got to find money for Colo. I want to upgrade that fourth centre wing to get Iro and play with this sort of stuff. So I've dropped him down. I actually think by the time I settle on my team round 1, he will be my halfback for the rest of the year. But I like the fact that I can have him. I think he's got a way to get those unicorn points. He's the king of it. As we talk about JC, Hines is the king of unicorn points. 75 or 76, 77 average. You just got to find it. There'll be some way. Like, I'm hoping, and most of us are all hoping, that Moses becomes that guy that pushes 100, 150k up, and then we can just go from Moses to that. And I'm just hoping I already have Hines, and I don't have to muck around with it as a captain, vice captain option. Very, very keen on Prince Nico.
Is it fair to say Nico's the number one hooker, halfback to start Supercoach this year, and the only reason why people won't start with him is purely from a coin point of view? Because even myself, I've looked at ways to do it so far. There's potentially ways to make it work. It does make another position or two look a little bit lean, which I don't like. But it is purely coin at the moment. Like, there's so much of my team that I do like, and it just means I can't have Nico at halfback, where it'd just be like, it'd be the full stop, I feel like, or on the exclamation mark of my side.
Yeah, it's just because there's a few more other halfbacks, 200k less. It's going to be a year of very heavy centre wings. It's going to be a year of very heavy front row forwards again to start. Something has to go, and I think when you've got a 750k halfback, when there is good value at 550 in the halfback position, it's so easy to fix those two up. You go, I'm going to pull my 200k back in with a Moses or a Dewey or a little bit dearer. Even Jerome Hughes is 120k cheaper. That's a lot of coin. That's a lot to do heaps with. You're going from a pretty mediocre center wing to someone who's going to bang you massive scores consistently. A lot can change, and I suppose you just got to do a net value comparison. Am I really gaining capital on these players if I don't have Nico? It's just a ceiling thing with Nico. There's not really many other players that can do what he can do if you're trying to find that value. So, and it's just hard. It's hard to get to that price tag. That's the thing, without really dismantling stuff. I think in certain positions, and we've said it, years and years in a row now, there are big positions, and you don't want to do yourself out of starting really, really short in that position, because then you're going to find a really hard time to get back there. And if you see Nico Hines or Cleary or, even Campbell too, if you want to put him in the mix up the top, going ton, you're like, I need them. I made a big mistake here. Where are you going to pull 300k from in 2 weeks or in a week's time? So, yeah, it's safer to get him and then trade down. If things go south, it's very hard to go up.
I agree. I'll talk to you, but quickly some numbers and make of this what you will. He started last year at 735k. He was picked in 18% of teams. He fell to 618k at a 67.5 average. He was still in 18.4% of teams. From there on out, he worked his way up to 34% ownership and then finished the year at 795k. Like, his fluctuation isn't enormous. Even though in that middle period where he got to 604k, that was off the back of 60, 48, 38, 60, 65. Then he went 78, 117, 76, 63, 68.
Good.
I just don't think we're going to be looking at trying to trade him out. I think there'll be times where we get pissed off with him, because there'll be the moment where Trindle takes over and we're like, what the hell are they doing, Sharks? Like, why is Trindle doing this? But, you just take that. You take that one game, 4 or 5 games over the 24 that Trindle does that for what Nico Hines is going to do, and you just sit in there and plug him, and that's why I want him there.
Yep, 100%.
Makes perfect sense, boys and girls. So interested to see teams as we get closer to round 1 and what people end up deciding to do, because it is a big call, and it's a call that's going to change the way your side looks. I think it's fair to say there. 5/8, Braden Trindle, 417k. No, move on. Centre wing.
Void.
Our quickest so far. That's a record for us. 5 seconds. Centre wings. KL Iro Supercoach, not Kyle, like you've all got it. You're wrong. He's changed his name for crying out loud. How disrespectful. 705K. Ronaldo Militalo, 624K, out for most of the year. Basically put a red pen through him. Mawini Hiroti, 581K. Sione Katoa, 547K. Jesse Ramian, 502K. Sam Stone Street, 496K. Talakai I've already spoken about as well. And recent Bears recruit, Chris Vayilla, 235K. I will mention him. I normally go past these guys, but Michael Gabriel's 201K. I've actually had a few Sharks fans and pages that messaged me over the last, month or two, and give these guys some massive raps. Like they're saying this guy, if he was in pretty much any other squad at the moment who didn't have this sort of depth, and they're hoping this year we finally get to start seeing this. There's some massive raps on this guy. So whether he sees first grade or not too sure. They're still pretty stacked, even with a Molitalo full-blown injury for the year. But, boys, I think we all look straight to Iro. And it's 705K. Again, I've got that little red symbol next to him because I've got him in my side, boys, and I don't think I will move him anytime soon. I think he's almost a lock-in, one of those guys where as soon as the app opens, I'll put him in, and I don't think I'll move him once. Especially start of the year, we've spoken about it, where some attacking points can dry up a little bit. He doesn't need them. He can just do things without even getting those sorts of attacking numbers and still score a 70, 80 odd sort of points. He's a freak, and I think he will just hit the ground running.
What more do we need to say?
You don't need to give any stats. Like, what did he get? 9 games in a row he scored tries. He's averaged 72 over 11. It
was 10 games in 11.
Lock and load. Lock and load. Get him in. Dude's a superstar.
Yeah. He's very quickly become one of my favourite centre wings in the game. Gone from, cheapy 2024 days to now, I think, disregard the price tag on Kyle Iro. He's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man next to Herbie, bar none. So, yep.
The Molitalo injury, so there is a wing spot available, which will basically be a full-blown 24-game spot as well. I want to ask you both who you think will get it out of Hiroti and Stone Street, and then do you think whoever you think will get it is a legit option to look at? I think they will go Stone Street. I think he will get the spot. I don't think he's an option still at just below 500K though. I don't know. Jesse?
I think Hiroti will get the spot, and I think Stone Street, if he does get the spot, he is an option.
Okay. Trav?
I think they go Stone Street, but I hope they go Hiroti. And if they do go Stone Street, I'm still not getting either of them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Do you want to say anything more on Stone Street, Jesse? There was a little bit of a window he had for a while when it came to Supercoach, and he had some really nice points. I know
he
things sort of leveled out, but he did have a few really good games.
He does, 100%. He scores a shit ton of tries. That's the appeal, man, with Stone Street. But you can put any Sharks winger out there and they'll score bucket loads of tries anyway. That's the whole point.
You always get the wrong winger.
Well, they always average 60.
All of them, the entire backline will average 60 and you'll never get the right one on the right week. So, God, I've been burnt by Militalo too many times on a Katoa night, unfortunately. So, so last year he played 11 games, he scored 8 tries. In 2024, he played 5 games, he scored 8 tries. So the guy knows how to score tries. Like, he's a very, very good finisher. Base and power of 30-ish, give or take. He's a winger, man. It's just winger things, really. There's not much else in his game outside of putting the ball down on the line. So if the run is good, like we all say, a lot say it is, that's what you want from him. It just, 500K, see what happens at centre wing. I don't know. I'm looking at going good, like heavy centre wing. I want value. I want big boys. I want the guys that I want to keep for the long term, and I don't think Stone Street will be that guy. I don't think Hiroti's going to be that guy either at 581K. That's quite a lot. You're paying up. You're paying at what you want them to do, not what they are going to make. So, Neither
So
really
I,
look that good.
I agree, Jesse. And to be fair, if I'm getting Hiroti, I'm finding $17,000 and getting Toto at $5.98. Like
Yeah.
I think that's a no-brainer. And Stone Street at $4.96 is there's just too much if, buts, and maybes for me to do that. And I'll just wait and see, especially because one thing that the Penrith Panthers do well, which they play in their second game, which the Sharks play in their second game, is defend and is limit tries and try scores. And so I just, after 2 games at 4.96, and he gets a poor score against Penrith, he's probably going to drop. That stuffs his bloody break even up. I just don't want to play with that just right now. So I'll happily watch and see. And look, to be honest, if Stone Street comes out blazing because he gets that spot, I'll drop one of Herbie, Carraz, Iro, or Toto to him, because that's currently where my centre wings are sitting, and I am not mucking around with that anymore.
Yeah.
Yep, no, absolutely spot on. Anything else when it comes to the Sharks CTW boys?
They're all. I'll jump in here, Jesse, but they're all really good options. Like Katoa's a good option. Raymond's always a good option, but it's just they're odd priced. Are you going to get the 3 or 4 weeks where they do put those 70s and 80s on, and then you've got to quickly jump off? They're all great players. They're all average well, but you just never really own them because you can't.
Yeah, except Carlero. Disclaimer alert: he's a freak every single game, so
We
he's
already
the
spoke
outlier.
about him.
Yeah, I'm talking about him as a bundle, but if you just want to compile all of them into one player, just get Carlero.
Yeah,
and don't worry about it.
don't worry about the stress. Just go Euro and move on.
Yep.
Talking about moving on, fullbacks. Will Kennedy, 533k. Liam Eason, 216k. If there, just quickly, I don't really want to talk about this, but if it's every year that the Sharks go all in on one of these juniors or something and just promote someone, surely it's this year. Will Kennedy is hanging on to this position by a thread, in my opinion. Like, there's not much left in this guy that I don't think is keeping someone like Liam Eason away. So,
how old is Will Kennedy, man? I feel like he's had this position for about 10 years.
50.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
I don't know.
That's so harsh.
He's
I'm going to
28.
Google it for you.
He's almost 29. He's almost 29. So, there you go.
They just need something else.
I can't believe, like, we skipped over Trindle that quickly. I can't believe we haven't skipped this. We are not spending time on this. Neither of them are viable Supercoach options. Let's move on.
Team number 4.
Well, I'd like to actually...
Sorry, Joel. I really am.
Joel.
I'm sorry.
We're pulling rank.
I wanted to just give...
Pulling rank.
I wanted to give Liam a bit of a rev up there, but that's okay.
One day it'll be Eason season. But yes, we'll see.
Maybe in 27, but then maybe they get Pappy, and so we still don't talk about him.
Exactly.
Perhaps. All right, Manly Seagulls are our fourth and final team. You've hung on so far. This one could get a bit juicy. There's some good talking points in this one as well. So for the first 5 for Manly, so we've got round 1 against the Raiders at home. Round 2, the Knights at home. Round 3, we've actually got a bye. We haven't had many byes in this so far, but Manly have the bye in round 3, which could be a pain in the arse, and I'll ask these boys shortly about that one. Round 4, the Roosters home, and then round 5, the Dolphins away. When it comes to the injury side of things for Manly, so they've got a few little niggles at the moment. Majority are back for preseason. The only decent one is ACL injury for Aaron Shoop, and he is back around that round 7 to 10 mark, courtesy of the NRL physio. But the rest, Olakwadu, Garrick, the like, even Nathan Brown are all looking very much ready for round 1 and back into basically full training and the like now. But Jesse, I did mention it just before when it comes to Manly, via their snapshot, there feels like there's a couple of really nice looking options. There's a surprising couple that potentially not options at all at the moment. We have had some goal kicking news hit the Page Legends group. Shout out to the Legends. If you're not a legend yet, go ahead. $4.49 per month. It's still cheaper than a price of a cup of coffee, guys. Don't worry about that. Small increase, but you get exclusive Supercoach content. You get access to both. Trav and Jesse can ask them questions basically whenever you want. They'll be there to answer. We've got chats and the like as well. So if you want to level up your Supercoach game, you almost must be become a legend. It's our Facebook exclusive group. But some super goal kicking news dropped for that, Jesse. It looks like Garrick might be losing that, which is a big talking point when we get to both Fogarty and Garrick. But what are you thinking when it comes to Manly? That round 3 bye, is it a pain in the ass? Is it not as bad as it looks? Where are we at?
It's the worst buy.
Yeah.
It's the worst buy.
Why is that?
Because your price rises happen on the 3rd game for everyone new. So you'll play 1 and 2, and then everyone will have these really juicy break evens, and everyone's kind of knows what prices will change here and there, except the Dogs in round 2 and the Tigers in round 1.
Yes.
Their price changes will happen in round 4. So will Manly's, unfortunately, but it will happen at the peak of everyone's price changing, It really does put a damper on their run, to be fair, because it is quite good, and it goes on for a while. You got Raiders first, Knights is a nice one, bye. Just stumps it. Roosters, Dolphins, Dragons, Cowboys, Eels. Like, it's decent, man. They've got some, it's a good option run. Like, there's some players in there that will do well. There's teams that they'll beat. Probably smack them down too, depending on how everyone sort of gels together. But yeah, because of the round 3 bye, it's really turned me off a lot of the big upside dudes early anyway. Potentially after that, I might look to get a couple in. For the sort of, the lower upside positions, I'll probably let Trav take off with this one once we start into the hookers. I think for those kind of positions, you can definitely find the value with a couple of Manly guy, Simpkin for one. There's a few around, but yeah, if you're spending up big dollars on a couple, Olakawatu and stuff, yeah, I'm not a fan yet.
Trav, are you in the same boat? This round 3 bye has just come at the worst time possible. It's turned you off a few, or you can get past it?
No, I can't go past it. It for likes of big dollars players, so Garricks and things. Olakawatu, Turbo even. I'm not keen on those. I am more keen on those cheaper options, your Simpkins, Pasekas, and that type of thing. That's the simple answer for that. And I know you spoke about it before. I apologise for dropping away 10 o'clock and someone's knocking on my door. So the man of the house has to go and have a look at what's going on here. But the Garrick being not getting the kicking for Fogarty, it has made that option even further off my list. So add that plus the buy. No thanks.
Yep.
Completely fair. Let's get into the position breakdown for Manly. So let's start at hooker. Jake Simpkin, you both already mentioned him. We'll get into him very shortly. 422k. Zach Docker-Clay, 325k as well. Jake Simpkin, when I made my first team, I had Jake Simpkin in my team. I have just gone away recently from him, but I felt this is one of those guys where after this chat, probably put him straight back in because there was a reason I started with him. I really like it. He's basically got no opposition, as you can see there. I think Zach Docker-Clay is really just the last resort sort of signing where if we really have to, we'll play him. But looks like Jay Simpkin's going to be getting an 80-minute hooker role, boys. And you've both already said it, and it's rightly so. The Manly Seagulls have a really nice early run. Then they've got a really nice couple of good early home games as well in that. Jake Simpkin, talk to us. Talk dirty to us.
Take it away, Trav. I know you've
All
got
right,
him.
so unfortunately, there's no surprise here. I've spoken about him all of this podcast in terms of where I'm going at the hooker, and he is sitting there at 422k, 700k. I'm super keen, as you said, Joel. Big minutes at least. Big minutes of some kind. Maybe he drops off for a 10-minute stint or whatever, but he's proven that he can. When he finished the 2025 year, he pumped out an average of 62 in his final 5 games. So there's the average is there for him at 422k. This guy's going to increase in price at worst. Like I can't see anything negative about what he's going to do, other than that round 3 bye, which means you need to have someone on the bench that you can cover. and we'll talk about this, my bench cover in another podcast, but not now. I'm so keen on Simpkin. He's a ball playing hooker. He's a lockdown for good scores. He will tackle. He's got great base average.
Yep.
I'm super in on Jake Simpkin.
Yeah, he's a guy that I always have. Every year I have Simkin at some point. It's usually towards the end too, because he'll find his way into the starting position. Um, where was he at the Tigers initially? I think I sort of had him then, and he good little draft pickup here and there as well. But yeah, like if he gets that position, man, 80 minutes is his. He's done it
It's not
plenty of
if,
times.
it is.
Well, yeah,
There's
like
no one else. It
Docker
is his
Clay,
spot.
you know what I mean? Like he got a run at the Roosters. I'm sure he can, find himself 15, 20 minutes in Manly, but
Getting run at the Roosters is an odd when
yeah, grow up. Listen
He got
here.
a run at the Roosters when there was injuries and things. He didn't get a run at the Roosters for any other reason.
Yeah, it wasn't out of preference. um, so with like Simpkin, call it 80 minutes for him. Like he's going to be that. Or even 75, whatever it is. He's going to average at least 50, 55. He's always done that. In those games where he gets the minutes, he's always going to average that. He's got a career average over 70 minutes of 53 win 20 games. So it's consistent. His base and power is 46. Like he's that 500k hooker that we always talk about. That's just going to do you a job with potential upside because it's going to be his position. He's going to start into it now. He's going to make it his own, etc. I like it a lot. The equivalent to his price would be a Reed Marnie. And, Reed Marnie's very meat and potatoes. Simpkin might have a bit more in him, or it could be very much the same, and it's just a different play. But you can't go wrong with it. That's the thing. It's good value. It's 100k less than, or at least 150k less than, the top guys for what will probably be at the end of the year 10 to 15 average difference. It's not a massive swing. So if you can get 100k back into your kitty to do something else with, this is a position to do it. And he's a great option for it too. It's just, and even with the round 3 buy, if he's on a buy and you have enough, then you have a free loop. Done.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the world.
But also, I there are options to have a bench hooker.
Yeah.
So like you can, I think, wait till TLT and get someone in there. But look, the other thing too is you can also start with Marnie, see how it goes, see what Simpkin does. Simpkin has that round 3. Marnie doesn't. Change it and trade and get the price rise out of Marnie if you like it and go from there. Like there is an option if you wanted to play extra safe, but I just think Simpkin's going to score more than Marnie in the first 2 games, especially with who they play in their draw. I just want to have that and not have to make that trade. That I'm hoping to. What my hope is, and by my team and the way I've built it is, I don't want to have to make corrective trades too much early, which is what I had to do in 2025. And then that's when I started to make my run because I made all these corrective trades and off I went. Like I don't want to do that this year. I'm hoping I've got the upside guys already in my team.
There's a part of me that if I'm going to be trying to be reasonable about this and come up with another solution to not just go everyone gold mine in Jake Simpkin, it doesn't feel like to me he's an 80-minute guy consistently. And it feels like Manly need to have some kind of plan in place to rectify that and help Jay Simpkin throughout the year because they need him to play on pretty much 24 games. No doubt about that. I have a feeling Joey Walsh will be the 14, and there's massive reps on him, obviously, in the halves. I've heard a whistle. I didn't want to believe it. This was about 3 or 4 weeks ago where I heard that Joey Walsh would come into the halves, play 5'8" next to Fogarty throughout the game, whether that's just after halftime, whatever it is. And then Luke Brooks was actually going to spend some time at hooker. That's a plan that I've heard.
Jeez.
If that does happen, and Jake Simpkin ends up only playing a 50-odd minute role, that will obviously be curtains.
It changes everything.
Jake Simpkin.
Absolutely change everything.
So just see what happens. It could be one, like you just said then, Trav, the play might be maybe not to start with you, get past round 3, see what's going on, and then get him in. Because still post round 3 through till round 10, 11, 12, Manly actually have a really decent run. So if it's still working out and Simpkin is looking like that majority 80-minute or even 70-minute guy, then you almost have to probably get him in because he'll be doing some really good things at that price.
I honestly just can't see Seabold doing that. I just can't see
It's
it.
Seaball we're talking about. I can
Yeah.
definitely see Seaball doing that.
You reckon? No, I just
Yes.
I can't.
Yes.
I just can't see him doing something outrageous like that.
It's too vanilla. Let's move my 5'8" around to play this kid who's all gun. And I'll play him at hooker.
It's
Why not? What could
It
go
it,
wrong?
it
it's
makes
Seaball we're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
outrageous.
It is.
In a weird way, I actually feel like, and it's a bit
It
off
is.
topic, I actually feel like Luke Brooks would suit dummy half. Let him run the ball. Let him just not think. Go. Anyway, let's go to front row forwards. Siwa Takiyaho tops this list, crazily enough.
Unbelievable.
464K. I'm in shock. I remember when they first on, I was like, what are they doing? We actually had a decent year last year. Ethan Bullymore, 441K. Find him a start, please. Taniela Paseka, 328K. Nathan Brown, 300K. Caleb Navale with a 2RF dual, 277K. Boys, there's a couple of little talking points in here. Firstly, if Ethan Bullymore can get a starting spot and get some good guaranteed minutes, goodness me, I'm looking at him. I'm looking hard at him. But it's just not going to happen. It just feels like he's on this massive deal as well now. He's on like a 5-year contract or something
At
with
500K. Like they're
them.
paying
Just
him.
sit on the bench and be the it guy.
What's it gonna take? Yeah.
Oh, it's hurting.
Oh man, there's a top 10 front row forward in the comp right there for sure. If he just got the more minutes, he's so underrated. I love him, but he's not super coach relevant until he does that.
Yeah. Paseka, 328K. I've got him in my side. I've got that red little thing next to him at the moment. Averaged 48 last year in only 3 games. So clearly, if you can continue that, there's already priced. This is basically laughing yourself to the bank. But I'm very, very keen on this one. And I've got a picture of him up at the moment in his training gear, and he's looking extremely fit. He's chiseled.
As he should be. He hasn't played for a couple of years.
He's
Anyway. He's at least, I would say, 200 to 250K undervalued. At least. He is every day of the week a 55 average, in my opinion. He will be my front row 3, and there's no debating that one for me. It's the easiest one. I'm happy to put that extra 100K into my third position with what's guaranteed to come, barring an injury. I don't see a world where he doesn't make at least that coin.
I'm with you, Jesse. Trav?
Yeah, look, I am as well, but I don't want to spend that on someone as glass made like he is. Like he should be looking that fit and that rip, because he should have been sitting in the gym for the last 2 years just absolutely pumping iron, because that's all he's been able to do. Like, yeah. Is the dude talented? Absolutely. Is he a monster? Hell yes, he is. He's enormous. Can he play? Has he got talent? Yep. So that's what we're doing it on, and that's why we're spending it. He's in my team. I'm not 100% on it because I just don't want to spend 328K on a guy made of glass, but let's see.
The alternative is you save 60 grand for a guy that's probably never going to play. I just don't like that. It's a bit of an investment early.
Or I end up with someone at 328K who gets injured and doesn't play.
Yeah, and then
I have to trade him down.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just looking at his stats here, and I think that glass is a little bit harsh, because prior to last year he played 3 games, and everyone has a bad, like, if we're going to say that, are we worried about Cameron Murray at the moment? Not going to get him. I think for the price, the year before that he played 23 games. The year before that, 18 games. 2022, 11 games, but that's 2.5 years prior. So it's not like he's got the worst. It's not like he's gone 3-3-6 or something. Like, he's actually been pretty decent, and I think it's huge value. I think it's one of those guys where I almost put in that must-start territory, because I just think it's incredible value.
Yeah, I think so. Like, for games where he plays over 45 minutes in the front row, which isn't a big ask, you know what I mean? I'm not cherry-picking stats here. Last year,
Manly have no one.
He did it
especially
twice.
in Manly's team.
Yeah, exactly. So a 45-minute front row position should be the bare minimum for this bloke. Last year, and once you go over 45, his numbers average out to be about 55. So ruling out the injury stuff, last year he played those 2 games in that position. He averaged 61.5 in those 2. The season before, in 2024, he played 16 games, averaging out 51 minutes, for a 51 average. Like, that's
Hop on.
pretty standard stuff. Like, it's just going to be what it is. He's a point a minute guy, and if he plays 50 minutes, he's going to get 50 points, kind of at least. I just think at 328k, it's free money. It's not exciting, but it's free money.
I'm with you. The other one on this list that I've heard a little bit about, and there's some pretty big raps coming out of Manly about him, is Caleb Navale. 2RF dual as well. It seems like, just going over their forwards, there is some missing pieces there. There's some opportunities available for some of these guys to grab. And I think Manly are screaming out for some of these younger guys, powerful athletic figures, to really take control of this lineup and grab their opportunities. And Navale is one of those guys. I'm keen to watch him at the moment. I've actually got both of them in my team. I love the dual factor from Navale. Yes, it's a bit up from these bottom sort of dollar guys that you guys are talking about, being able to move and shift a few things. If it means I can go to another big guy with that extra 60-odd K, I probably would do it by kickoff. A guy that you probably need to watch TLT for as well, just to see where he is at and where Manly is shaping with their forward pack. But just one to keep an eye on, boys.
Yeah, 100%. Played 15 games at lock last year in the reserves, and he averaged 68. 2 games off the bench, scored 81. So, yeah, he's got a big score in him. Again, how does it translate, and what sort of minutes does he get will be one thing to check. But he's got the talent according to these numbers. So
these numbers you are giving us from Cup, honestly,
I know they're so big. Honestly, I look at everyone's Cup numbers and I'm like, God, this must be the most insane competition.
You go past the Cup. Go past the Cup numbers. At 27 minutes a game last year over 7 games, you averaged 32. That's still pretty
PPM's
good.
Solid.
That's 100%. So if you can push those 27 minutes to another 10 minutes, or even if in an ideal world around 40, that's, what do you think, another 8 points plus? So we're sitting around a 40 average, which is a nice little price rise for us as a downgrade at some point.
Yep, for sure.
Can we move on to 2RF?
Yep.
2RF, Hamola Olakwatu, 650k. Coming off only playing 15 games last year, be ready to really rip in. We'll be getting fed by Fogarty as well. Ben Trebojevic, 494k. Corey Waddell, 432k. Kobe Hetherington, new recruit from the Broncos, 428k. And Jake Trebojevic, with that new style headgear that he looks to be wearing, 365k. And we've just spoken about Caleb Navale with the dual. So weird to see so many of these forwards not have jewels and stuff. I'm used to going through and every second player has a bloody jewel next to his name. So it is making it a bit interesting this year. It is making it a bit hard to do things, so to speak, and even harder during the season if not much changes. But Ola Kawatu is a talk of the town. I know you both have already said because he's round 3, you probably won't be starting with him. I guess that's really all to say then, isn't there, on him?
Pretty much. I could pretty much say I reckon now I won't own Ola Kawatu all season. I've just not got a lot of interest in him. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's average at he's 66.5 from last year. He's 650k. He'll basically be that all year. He'll average 65 towards the end of the year. You kind of get what you get out of him, which is good. But again, it's like without Cherry Evans, there's going to be this new combination with Fogarty.
Yeah.
How does it go? How does that really go for him? I can't see Fogarty being a downgrade for him. I think he's still going to do well. But yeah, I'm not spending 650 on him with other options at 2RF and the round 3 buy and the uncertainty with the halves, and yeah, I've never been colder on Ola Kawatu than I am this season.
Yeah, DCA used him so well. It's going to be interesting to see how that new combination with Fogarty, how long it takes to get there. Obviously, Fogarty's no stranger to using gun back rowers. He's used Hudson Young for a number of years now. So it's not foreign territory for him. He's done it time and time again, but it will be definitely a watch to start the year with, Trav.
Yeah, absolutely agree. You guys summed it up really well.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
No, absolutely not. Not the rest of the 2RFs are not appealing to me at all.
No, not at all. Jamal Fogarty, halfback, new recruit, 667k. Joey Walsh, 235k. And Brendan Wakeham, 5'8" dual, 216k. Just repeating the news we said at the start of this section of the podcast. that it looks at this stage that Fogarty will be winning the goal kicking, which is very interesting. It may help pique people's interest in maybe having him. I've always been a big Fogarty fan. I absolutely love him. I'd still, even if he gets a goal kicking, I'm not that keen.
He was in a better team last year, was goal kicking in that better team and still averaged 68. He's a great player, very happy to watch him go, but he's in a worse team for Manly, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not interested in him at 687, at 667.
Yep. It was the best year he ever had. You're getting him at the absolute peak of his career, and he's not getting younger. It's like, that's the thing. There's sign of this illusion around him at the moment. He's 32 years old. See how he goes, man. It could be a good thing for him, but I don't think he's going to do what he can do there. It's just not it for Fog.
Mid-year, if there is a injury to the halves and we then get a bit of Joey Walsh action on a full-time basis, tell you what, he could become one of those guys you do a nice little cash down that frees up about 500k, and in comes Joey Walsh. That would be nice to see there. But yeah, just watch Fogarty. But just the biggest news is, and probably from also a Gary point of view, which we'll touch on shortly, that goal kicking looks to be heading Fogarty's way. 5'8", Luke Brooks, 451k.
Move on.
No thanks.
What's all these 5'8s we're looking at? There's nothing going. I think for like every team so far tonight, the 5'8s have just not been it. We've had Brooks, Brimson, Trindle.
Shit out of me.
Jesus.
Which is, we've talked more about Luke Brooks than we did Trindle, and I'd rather Trindle than Brooks. Let's move on.
He just pisses me off how badly that signing's gone, and I had so much hope for it at the start. It actually excited me.
So did I. Yeah, so did I. I feel for Brooks.
Trav, we'll say that for the season preview. We'll save that. Centre wing, Ruben Garrick, 664k. Tolu Kula, 643k. Lehigh Hopewadi, 611k. Clayton Falalo, 460k. Jason Saab, 450k. Blake Wilson, new recruit from the Bulldogs. If he hasn't looked at this pack line and realised there's no chance, he had a better chance at the Dogs probably. Odd signing for 381k. Aaron Short, just spoke about him. He's not back till about around 10ish mark, 235k. Josh Feldy, 216k as well. There's a few names there. There's a few names. It feels like it's a pretty locked-in starting centre wing there at Manly. It's Garrick, no goal kicking, no interest at all. Is that fair to say, boys?
Very.
Yep, 100%. You can wash 12 off his average.
Ouch. And then I feel like for the rest of the back line, in a way, it sort of feels like depends what turbo we get.
Yeah, I guess.
They
and
seem
it
to feed
depends
off it.
if Turbo's out potentially, Lehigh obviously becomes an option like always. He's very solid. It's actually crazy. If you take the goal kicking away from Garrick's average, Telltale Cool is the number one by some margin too. They're all just, I don't know, they're all just kind of the same, aren't they? Manly's centre wings, they're all the same player. You look at them, they all cost the same, they all look the same. They all score the same. I'm just not really into them. There's no options here.
I really like Cooler.
So do I. I think he's great.
I think he is, and I think he's a gun. I think he should be a fullback too. But God, he's so good. He averaged 65.8 over 22 games last year in a mess of the Manly. Like, how good's that? The dude's a gun. 643. I'm not taking him because I actually think they're going to score less points this year. I think Manly are going to be worse. There's no pack pushing that. We're talking about probably the worst pack in the competition, unfortunately. Field position's going to be a problem. That's going to be an issue for Cooler. I'm not interested to add him to start off with.
Nothing else when it comes to centre wings?
Nothing else.
No, not really. Hey, it's
Not unless Turbo can go again, like his old form, and get Saab going. That'd be like a time Saab with a run. You might, and then you just quickly get off. You get him for about 3-4 weeks, and then see you later.
Yeah, but it's
still
still not
by
really.
the time you get on the run, it's already about 2 weeks in, and you go, you know what, just stuff it.
draft
Fullback.
players.
Yes, there's only one. Tom Trbojevic, 692K. It's so weird here, boys, because it's funny to end the podcast with Tommy Trbojevic because for mine, I haven't had him in my team once yet. Like I've played around. I've had a number of teams, and I just no interest at the moment.
It's fair.
Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you're missing anything, really. I think we've just all sort of been battered down enough by Tommy, and you just kind of get over it. You just think, you know what? I want to watch him.
I'm done.
I want to watch him without the expectation of a good Supercoach score. And that's pretty much it now. Honestly, I kind of just want to see him explode. And if he bangs out whatever and he just, runs the line, scores a try, whatever, and he ends on 120, I'm like, good on you. But at the same time, I just think with the fullbacks we've got that are doing the same thing now, like when Turbo was in a class of his own and it was, yeah, exactly, and better. When he was that outlier, like, we're kind of seeing with what Walsh could potentially turn into and what Teddy's been doing, they're the options. They're those guys now, and I'm happy to let that one slide. There's still some, Turbo diehard faithfuls out there that'll start with him and play him the minute his name's on team lists and trade him in after 8 weeks off on injury. And then, crack the shits when he gets injured again. It's like, well, what do you expect? It's kind of the way that's gone, but still love the bloke.
Rugby league is a better place when Turbo is absolutely killing it. Unfortunately, he just hasn't been able to. I want him to. He should be in his prime. This guy should literally be still in his prime at 20. What is he? 28.
29.
Yeah.
It sucks to see.
Yep.
And Jesse, your line summed it up really well. Like if he plays at his best, this 692 is well under what his price is, but I just don't think that's going to be where it is, and I hope it is. And if that's the case, I'm going to sit there and watch it and just love the fact that I don't have him, but he's killing it. Like I'm just going to have to. I just want him to. I just want him to succeed. I just want him to be better because NRL is better with him playing well.
And a talking point I've heard mentioned in the last couple of weeks throughout chats and stuff like that about no DC anymore, which could help Turbo and get him more involved. I'm actually worried about that because I don't want Turbo to get too much more involved in terms of his body. I just cringe at that thought because I just don't think his body can handle it. I'm just the more and more I think about it, the more and more it just screams to me, just put him to centre. Do what South have done with Latrell. Make the call now. Have him in the preseason doing it. I don't want him even doing fullback reps at preseason. It sucks. It just sucks that even it feels like even from a Supercoach point of view to start the year knowing that I'll be surprised if he's over 10% owned. I don't think he'll get there. I don't think there'll be many out there who actually hit the go button.
I think there will be for people in hope of the fact that we're hoping Turbo after a preseason does what we hope that he's done in the past. But for us that are diehard numbers crunchers, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah. And you obviously get the free look over the first 2 weeks as well. So you wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Get a look at him. If he's looking good, you can make that call then. I just don't think you need to start him. Yeah. I think it's a completely unnecessary risk, especially with that round 3 bye. It really does just emphasize it even more.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you very much for listening, getting through the entire podcast. Let us know in the comments if you are one of those loyal listeners and you get through the whole podcast. We'd love to know, and I might pick a few at random and send you out a prize for doing so. And thank you. We really do appreciate the support constantly. We do have a couple of these 4-team podcasts to come. A big one coming up next week, which you must listen to, must subscribe. Make sure you get the notification, get straight onto it. We've got a huge guest coming up, so I'm very keen to have that person join the podcast for a once-off appearance, someone that you will all know for sure, and you won't want to be missing that podcast to get that person's insights. Very, very keen. But that's it for we've now 7 teams down, so not quite halfway, very, very close. And thank you very much. Like, subscribe, please, across the social media pages, podcast, YouTube as well. But Trav, thank you. Jesse, Thank you very much. Another late night, but we love it this time of year. The app is very, it's getting closer by the day of being officially open, and it allows us to do a lot more. But thank you for being with us at this early stages with Supercoach. We will see you all for the next one. Bye-bye.
Enjoy.